Hello, everybody. Welcome to the TriStar Gym channel. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about O'Malley versus Merab. All of you saw it. Of course, you've all heard who won. Merab won easily. Easily won 4 out of the 5 rounds. Round number 3 was very competitive. I gave it to Merab. However, I am starting a poll because I want to hear what everybody has to say about round 3. Round 3 was the only other possible round O'Malley could have won. I think we all gave O'Malley round 5. He hurt Merab with a stabbing push kick to the body. Merab was kind of on the run, but Merab also knew he had the fight in the bag. He knew he had 100% certainty he was ahead in the fight. All he had to do was survive, but he did get hit hard with a toe stab. A teeping toe stabbing kick from O'Malley, and then O'Malley kind of chased him and tried to put the final touches on him, and then Merab did one final takedown. Level change, gets into the leg, gets a single, gets into a high crotch position, runs the pipe, runs the crackdown, gets on top of O'Malley and wins the fight. Okay, doesn't win that round. He doesn't win round number 5, but he definitely wins the fight. No argument here. We all agree Merab won. Now, how did he do it? How did he do it? I'm telling you, I released a video saying, I think Merab is going to win. I got so much backlash. So many people commenting, saying, Coach, you're wrong about this one. You're wrong about this one. O'Malley's going to piece him up. O'Malley's a sniper. O'Malley's improved so much more than when he fought Peter Yan. He's so much better than before. And you guys are all right. You're all correct. He's a lot better than when he fought Peter Yan. He is a sniper. He's a hard hitter. He's extremely skilled. He has great footwork. He has great strikes. He switches stances. He's a much better striker than Merab. I would tell you, if this was a kickboxing fight, I would pick O'Malley every time. If this was a boxing fight, I would pick O'Malley. If this was a kickboxing fight, I would pick O'Malley. But I wouldn't pick O'Malley in a grappling match or an MMA fight. Why? Merab's wrestling is just too superior. It's way better. O'Malley is very good in the striking, better than Merab. But Merab's wrestling was too much. His wrestling, the differential in wrestling was way too high. On the ground, guys, I'll tell you something. Merab doesn't finish. Merab never finishes. This could be... Look, I love Merab. I got to tell you guys something. I love his personality. I love the craziness. I love the fact that in the beginning of round 1, Merab is yelling at O'Malley's corner. They had to stop the fight. For those of you who didn't see it, I know 99% of you out there saw this. But it was insanity. The whole fight was insanity. Excuse me. There was fighters arguing with the cornerman. There was kissing in the fight. There was an illegal punch, which the referee didn't even acknowledge. Saw it completely, but blamed Merab for kissing O'Malley. Shouldn't have kissed him. Think about it. Merab is kissing O'Malley. The bell rings. Merab releases the guillotine. O'Malley gets up to punch Merab in the face. He's pissed. He's angry, and I understand him. He's angry. He walks up to Merab and punches him. Pow! Connects partially. Herb Dean sees it. Usually, that's grounds for a loss of point or disqualification. Now, disqualification would have been crazy, but loss of point, at least a warning. Herb Dean doesn't even warn him. And you know why? He's right. You shouldn't be kissing the man. You should not be kissing the man. That's not allowed in the rules. That's insane. Why was Merab kissing him? And he didn't kiss him once. He was kissing him like 4 or 5 times. O'Malley punches him, and Herb Dean doesn't even say a thing to O'Malley. He lets O'Malley walk back to his corner, and he tells Merab, you shouldn't have been kissing him. You shouldn't. And he was 100%. Guys, I'm 100% cool with that call. I think Herb Dean made the right call. You shouldn't be kissing your opponents in the ring. That's crazy. Of course they're going to want to punch you after the round. They're lucky that both corners didn't start fighting. Sometimes that could trigger a fight. The cornermen come in, hey, why are you doing that? Pushing each other, fighting, and all of a sudden you have a royal rumble in the octagon. Merab is crazy. I love his crazy personality. I love it. He's a very charming, lovable character. He's almost like, Dana White called him a moron. He's like, oh, that guy's a moron. I called him very intelligent. I went on my channel and I was like, oh no, he's a very smart fighter. He's going to know exactly what to do in that. He's going to walk a fine line and he's going to get it done. And everybody was like, yeah, coach, he jumped face first in a lake, in a frozen lake. Like, he's not a genius. He's not a smart guy. I didn't say he was smart in life. I didn't say the man was a mathematician. I didn't say the guy is an architect. I didn't say that the man is a Picasso. No, what I'm telling you is when it comes to fighting, the guy is a genius. The guy is really, really smart. His timing was correct. His shot selections were very intelligent. He started off with kicking high. He did everything but throw a punch that you can counter. He did everything except throw a sloppy punch, which O'Malley would have cleaned up on. Back to the round one. Round one starts 5 seconds in. 5 seconds. And Merab is yelling and pointing at O'Malley's corner and cursing and yelling and freaking out. The referee had to step in, stop the fight and say, hey, don't do that. Merab is completely nuts. He's completely nuts. And the reason why he freaked out on O'Malley's corner is because O'Malley's corner said something to him. And in the previous fight, when O'Malley fought Sterling, there was a complaint that O'Malley's corner was heckling or trying to coach Sterling. So I think Merab went in the fight saying, I'm not going to tolerate any of that. The second the fight started, he started yelling at the other corner. Just insane, completely unpredictable human being. The only one thing you can predict about Merab is he's going to shoot that takedown. And his cardio is unmatchable. His cardio is ridiculous, guys. The good thing about Merab is his cardio is amazing. His personality is amazing. The bad thing about Merab, he doesn't finish. He doesn't even get close to a finish. Guys, hold on a second. I think I'm getting spammed here. I gotta kick out a few morons here. The chat is going crazy here. I gotta kick out a few morons. Give me 1 second here. Okay, hide this moron. A couple of hecklers. You know your channel's getting big when the hecklers come out. All right, this moron here. Why don't you guys just show up to my gym? I'll be happy to deal with you. I'll be happy to deal with you. Raid. Okay, they want to raid my channel. Very cute. You raided my channel. Wow, wow, wow. I got raided by a bunch of keyboard warriors. Okay. Oh, it's a lot of little morons, huh? A lot of little keyboard warriors. Very cute. MMA Guru. MMA Guru raid. I don't think it's MMA Guru. Come on, guys. I don't think he has a beef with me. All right, I have to bang a few guys because, you're destroying the chat. We can't have you guys doing that. Okay, if you guys got banned. Okay, so like I was saying, Merab is totally crazy. I love his personality. However, guys, he doesn't finish. That's the thing. Like, if I think the fans will get tired of him if he doesn't start finishing fights. All right, sorry, guys. A few more morons I got to ban. Ban this guy. I need a moderator. Who's going to be my moderator? Hold on a second. Let me put a moderator here. Oh, MMA Guru is here. Oh, Mr. Guru, how are you? Who did you pick for the fight, Mr. Guru? I see you I see you here. You know what? I'm going to put Mr. Guru as my moderator. Should I do that? Should I add him as my moderator? All right, let's add him as the moderator. Stand up can review and remove chat messages and hide or put users in timeout. Okay, good. I'm going to put him as my moderator. Okay, let's see if me and Mr. Guru are going to have a beef here today. I'm giving you a little trust. All right, guys, the moderator is MMA Guru tonight. Guys, like I was saying, I love Merab. He's amazing. However, he can't finish. What if the fight had no time limit? Just imagine that for a second. If the fight had no time limit, we lock these two men in the cage. We're not going to open the cage again until one of them is unconscious or begging for mercy. His arm is breaking or whatever. I think O'Malley would win. I'll tell you why. Okay, I know a lot of you can be like, no, he's going to maul him. No. If O'Malley gets taken down, he won't care. He doesn't. The reason why he's so tired is because he has to get up off the floor. It's hard to get up off the floor. It's a lot of energy. But if you have unlimited time, you would just relax and chill and take it easy and play guard and wait. Take your opportunity to get back to your feet. O'Malley has ways to finish, and Merab doesn't. His finishing record is abysmal, guys. I got to be honest. I'm telling you guys, I love the guy. He's the new world champion. I think he's awesome. However, his finishing rate, imagine you could take down almost everybody you've ever fought, and you literally only have one submission. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. You're literally taking everybody down. How come you never finish? He needs to have a in-depth, super deep courses on how to finish submission, ground and pound. He has to change his style, and he can do it. He's a very talented, intelligent guy. He needs to do it, because if he doesn't do it, I'll tell you something, the fans will get sick of him. They'll get sick of him running around the ring and just taking people down, running around the ring and just taking people down. Like, they're going to get sick of that. He has to entertain the crowd. He has to show finishing ability. If he doesn't, it could be disastrous to his career. Okay, guys, with that said, I'm going to take comments and questions now on the fight and only on the fight. All right, I have to put another imbecile out. Okay, I don't know what MMA Guru is doing here, but he's definitely not banning people. Zahabi the soy glazer. I wonder if you'd ever say that to my face. Probably not. You're too much of a cowardly, spineless human being. Oh, look at this barbarity here. Okay. All the little chickeny cowards running away. Why is Merab having an acne outbreak on his shoulders at 33 and has unlimited cardio? Question mark. EPO? Question mark. That's from BD. Could be. Listen, I won't say it's impossible, but because the man's cardio is bizarrely unbreakable. Bizarrely. Okay? But I have no proof of that. I'm just speculating, just like you. It's just off the charts, you know. But he did grow up in Georgia. I'm assuming that's altitude. Actually, let's look it up. Georgia altitude. Altitude in Georgia is 600 feet above level. Okay. Oh, that's state of Georgia. Excuse me. Hold on a second. Country of Georgia. Why is my mouse not reacting? All right, I'm just checking the Georgia altitude. It's 1,432 meters above sea level. That's not a lot. No, the highest mountain peak is 4,000. That's not really. Look, I can't explain his incredible cardio, guys. I have no explanation. It's just bizarrely off the charts. Bizarrely. Okay, what else we got here? Okay, we have a MMA Guru super chat. This was a super based raid, but these animals are out of control. Many apologies. Guru, did you raid me? Did you raid me? It was a support based raid. Oh, okay. You guys were supposed to support me? I don't know. They were heckling me. Your boys were heckling me, putting pictures of pigs, you know, because I don't eat pork, you know, like that's not really nice, you know. But I thank you for those kind words, Mr. Guru. And you're welcome on my channel, of course. Just try to keep the minions out. Okay, what else here? Okay, where does Sean go next? Him versus Sanhagen would be a striker's dream. But he also has a bit of a beef with Cejudo, which could make for a good fight. That's from Ryan. Ryan, I would love to see those two fight, Cejudo or Sanhagen. I really think Merab has to fight Omar, because the O'Malley fight was too one-sided. If they do a rematch, man, and the fight goes the same way, the fans will be furious. The UFC, I don't think, will take that chance. And imagine they rematch 3 months from now, 4 months from now, and Merab just keeps taking him down, and just we see the same fight twice, and you paid big money for it, and they try to hype you up the same fight, but this time it's going to be different. The fans will hate it. Now, if the fight was close and controversial and seesaw battle, yes, you can have a rematch. But a fight that's so one-sided, it's got to be Merab versus Umar, and it's got to be, excuse me, hiccups, guys, pardon me. It's got to be Sanhagen or, like you said, Cejudo. That would be crazy. O'Malley versus Sanhagen or Cejudo. Those two names are the two perfect names for O'Malley to take on. I love those two fights. Okay, guys, don't forget, I always do super chats and non-super chats. Coach, if you could become the best fighter in the world, but you had to look like MMA guru, would you take the trade-off? Michael Ferguson, you're assuming I don't find him to be a handsome man. I find him to be a very handsome man. Now, could he stand to lose a little bit of weight, Mr. Guru? Perhaps you should become the nutrition guru. Add a little nutrition to your guru-ness, and voila, you have a very handsome man in front of you. Okay, guys, I'm always doing super chats and non-super chats. What else we got here? Okay, I got to kick out some other guy. Mr. Guru, you are the moderator. Please, you must do a better job of kicking out the soy boys. Okay, what else we got here? Pigs are a fat joke aimed at me. Enjoy the Okay, so the pigs are for MMA Guru, not for me. Okay, I thought it was a swine, because Muslims, we don't need swine. So, okay, those were, pigs equal guru. I see now. Guys, don't say the guru looks like a pig. He doesn't look like a pig. Shame on you guys. Guru, man, come on. We're going to get you on a good diet. We're going to get you nice and lean and shredded and make these haters eat their words. Coach, in 2007, you were cage side for GSP versus Koscheck and looked the same as you do today. Rumor is you got bit by a Canadian vampire in the early 2000s. That's from Ray, my man. Yes, I'll tell you guys something. I refuse to buy new clothes. Guys, I was 32-inch waist when I was in high school, college, university, 30s, 40s. If my pants don't fit, I don't buy new pants. I start dieting. That's a little rule I have. I start dieting, and every year on my birthday, guys, I will never buy size 34, size 36. Never. I will just keep dieting and make sure my pants fit. Now, I also, every year on my birthday, I tell you guys this, every year on my birthday, I got to be 9%. If I can reach my 9% every year on my birthday, I don't feel like I'm really getting older. If I can touch that goal every year. Thank you, Mr. Guru. Okay, what else we got here? Salam, Coach. Here's our guys. We're doing questions on the fight. This is getting out of control. Salam, Coach. Here's your biggest fan from Morocco. What adjustments do you think Sean O'Malley needed to do if he ever fought Merab again in order to win? That's from Zach D1. Zach, thank you very much, man. I'm in Morocco quite often, so I'd love to do a seminar there in the future. I was supposed to do one the last time I was there, but got too busy. Next time, I'm going to try to organize a seminar, try to keep an eye out for it, and one day we'll meet in person. Okay, Zach, I can tell you, what could he do? He has to increase his wrestling, like emergency level. The wrestling differential was too great. The sprawling was non-existent. He never really sprawled. He got pushed up against the fence and defended a little bit. He got hit. He got put to the ground and got up. But where was the sprawl? It was just too easy. Now, I'm not going to tell you that it was easy to stop Merab. It was easy for Merab. Now, Merab is an incredibly difficult guy to stop. But guys, look at Jose Aldo. One of the most difficult human beings to take down ever in MMA. Merab fought him at 135. Don't forget, he was the king at 145. Now he goes down to 135. He's past his prime, and Merab still couldn't take him down. Doesn't that tell you guys how amazing Jose Aldo's takedown defense is? I rewatched it before. I rewatched Merab versus O'Malley before the breakdown. And he didn't take down Jose Aldo once. It was a very close fight. Now, Jose Aldo's doing this after, being past his prime. This guy, the best wrestler in the division, the guy who walked over the champion just last week, couldn't take Jose Aldo down once. That just goes to show what a different level of champion Jose Aldo was. Even past his prime, these elite guys can't take him down. Even past his prime. What an insane, there are levels to the sport. There's world champion, and there's these legendary world champions, and Jose Aldo is definitely one of these legendary world champions. Think about it. Merab in his prime can't take down Jose Aldo way past his prime. Isn't that insane? But he can take down the current UFC world champion at will, almost practically at will. So I'm just trying to tell you, there was too much of a differential in wrestling. I would pay a lot of attention to O'Malley's wrestling, and I would pay a lot of attention to what he does on the ground. A lot of what he did on the ground, in my opinion, was needless energy spent. Again, easier said than done, guys. It's not easy. It's really not easy to fight a guy like Merab. I got to tell you guys something. O'Malley is one of the best fighters in the world. He's an incredible striker. He's a very good wrestler. He's not naive in wrestling. He's very well trained in wrestling. He's very well versed on the ground. We're just talking about a guy who's a complete outlier in the division. A guy who's a monster. A guy who could literally take down almost everybody except Jose Aldo. I mean, he took down Peter Yan. Peter Yan ain't no picnic to take down, but he took him down. But, so did O'Malley. I mean, O'Malley's not far. He's not far away in the wrestling. It's just that night his wrestling was off. And Merab's takedowns were lightning fast. I rewatched them. I was like, man, that's a hard takedown to stop. Like, I don't think many guys could stop it. That's why it blew my mind that Jose Aldo was not only able to stop it, but Jose Aldo actually stopped every single takedown. Guys, we can't underestimate what Jose Aldo did. And at what part of his career he's doing it. Jose Aldo is one of the greatest of all time talents and fighters ever. It's mind-boggling to me that he could stop every single one of Merab's takedowns. When I'm telling you, Merab is a massive outlier when it comes to taking people down. Okay, guys, don't forget, we're just still talking about this fight only. What do you think of Tim Welch's corner work versus Merab? That's from Hats 11 versus Merab. Look, I didn't like what he said after round one. After round one, he told O'Malley, beautiful round, fantastic round. Guys, that's not true. It wasn't a beautiful round. Now, why would you say that to your fighter? Do you think that O'Malley's broken mentally and you need to cheer him up? No, of course not. The guy's he's a born and bred fighter. He can handle the truth. I don't know why Tim Welch, I would love to ask him, like, why did you tell him it was a beautiful round? He obviously lost round one. I didn't look at the official scorecards, but I guarantee you that every single one of them. Let me look it up. Official cards, UFC 306, right? Guys, I guarantee you every judge gave it to Merab. It can't be otherwise. If it is, I'm going to blow my top right now. You cannot give a single, not one judge could have given it to him. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. All right, O'Malley, what do we got here? Round one. One judge gave it to O'Malley. Is he insane? Oh, no, excuse me. Hold on. Excuse me. No. Pardon me. Okay, Merab. No, all three judges gave it to, excuse me. I was looking at the last round, not the first round. My bad. The last round, all three judges gave it to O'Malley. One judge gave round 3 to O'Malley. Hold on a second. 2 judges gave round 3 to O'Malley. 2. Look at that. 2 judges gave round 3 to O'Malley. Every judge gave round 1 to Merab. Every judge gave round 2 to Merab. Every judge gave round 4 to Merab. Okay, so 2 judges had 3-2. Let me check my live stream here. How many of you guys... Oh, look at that. Round 3 was tight. 47% say O'Malley. 53% say Merab. Very, very close third round. The third round was close. But nobody denies that Merab got at least 3. Okay, so look, it is hopeful. What were we talking about just now? Oh, yeah, Tim Welch's advice. I didn't like what he said after round 1. Honestly, I thought that was crazy. I would have started telling him, look... Because he kept telling him, look, you got to snipe shots to the chest. Okay. Why do they want to punch to the chest? Because when he ducks down to level change, you'll end up punching the guy in the chin. So if you aim here and then he ducks underneath your punch to level change, it'll go over his head. So what you do is you kind of punch to the chest. So when the guy comes in, you aim for that chest, he'll go right into your fist. It's kind of what you call leading, right? Let's say you want to pass the ball to a guy. You don't pass it where he is. You pass it where he's going to be, right? Because the ball's going to take 2-3 seconds to get there. So you got to put him, where's he going to be in 2-3 seconds? Well, he'll be a little bit further forward. Okay, throw it there, right? Not a good idea. It didn't work. Try something else. I'm not saying it was a bad game plan. Maybe it works in practice. We're here tonight. We're fighting. It's not working. I think after round 2, he should have called an audible. I don't think he did call an audible. They just tried more of the same. He kept telling him, after round 4, he's like, it's almost over. Yeah, it's almost over. What do you want him to do? Like, I don't think he did a bad job. There was just a few things he said that I think didn't make sense. And especially it was round 1. Round 1 saying, beautiful round, you're looking good. No, he's not looking good. It didn't work out that round. What are we doing here? He's getting taken down. He's getting pushed near the fence. That's a big faux pas. If I would have been in O'Malley's corner, I'm not saying I could have done better at all, not at all, but I would tell you, I would have asked O'Malley to put more than one punch together. O'Malley was looking for the perfect punch. O'Malley was trying to do what he did to Sterling, which was amazing, which was incredible, which was a great way to win. However, it's not working with Merab. He was trying to land the perfect punch, waiting too long, falling behind on the cards. Look, you tried that for round 1. You tried for round 2. It's time now. We got to outwork this guy. We got to push this guy back. We got to start hitting him. We got to start hitting him to the body. We got to start throwing combinations. We can't just land one shot. And I felt like O'Malley was trying to land the perfect shot. Sometimes we call it paralysis by analysis. You're thinking too much. You're waiting for the right opportunity. Why? Because we're going to close the show with one punch. Sometimes it happens, guys. Sometimes you can't close the show with one punch, but it doesn't happen that often. You can't think that every fight is going to be like that. You'd have to have that touch of death. Okay, now, O'Malley's got great power, but he's not the type of guy who touches the guy's chin and erases you. Like if you look at Ngannou, he touches the guy on the chin and the guy's erased. Doesn't exist anymore. McGregor had that kind of power for the first 2 rounds. Absolutely. Touch a guy on the chin, the guy's gone. The guy's not here anymore. O'Malley definitely has great power, but he would hurt guys, drop them, get on top of them, beat them. Yes, like, with the Sterling, he dropped Sterling. He had to hit him 4 or 5 times. Like, he had to finish the guy on the ground. The guy was still alive. Now, he's got great power, but not so much that I would bank everything on it. Yes, of course he's got great power. Yes, of course he's precise. He has great movement, but at one point, you have to start putting the punches together. You have to work cumulative shots. You have to break the guy down instead of doing it all with one punch. Let's land 30, 40 punches on this guy. Slow him down. Hurt him. Make him feel like he's in a fight. Get him panicking. Getting him shoot. Make him have to shoot. O'Malley never forced his opponent to shoot on him. His opponent Merab just moved around and shot when he was ready and willing to do it. So look, again, this is way harder to do than just to say, but I just didn't think it was smart to tell your fighter after round 1 that he's doing a good job. I just don't think it was the right thing. I think you should have put more urgency on him. You should have told him, look, you need to back this guy up. You need to stay off the fence and back this guy up. All right, Cal, I'm putting you up as moderator. Go for it. Okay, gotta put a couple idiots out of the... All right, guys. What else we got here? Shiz, my boy, Akhmedov. Congrats, coach. You predicted Merab was the best work. Your prediction for Merab was your best work. Absolutely dominated Sean on the floor. Merab took away Sean's charisma, flashy movement, and made him look normal. Sean hesitated and didn't do what he does best. That's from Shiz, guys. I agree, but it was just a stylistic matchup. It was a nightmare stylistically. Look, Sean is a phenomenal fighter. It was just a nightmare. Merab is a nightmare for almost the entire division. Guys, I'm telling you, this guy is a very special human being. He's a very special human being. He has his flaws, but he's perfectly designed to win in 25 minutes. He could put anybody on the floor in 25 minutes and keep them there. Almost everybody, almost anybody. If there was no time limit, if you had, 20-minute rounds, this would be a very different fight. He's perfectly built for winning rounds. He's perfectly built. He holds you. He doesn't do any subs. He's no threat. He doesn't have knockout power. He's just buzzing around, and then he just has this incredible ability to take you down. He's not a dangerous man. O'Malley is a dangerous man. It's the rules that make us think Merab won. I'm telling you, I know it sounds crazy. I know you guys are all thinking, oh, coach, you're out to lunch. You're crazy. You're crazy. I'm not. I'm telling you guys, I know a lot about fighting. Okay. If you lock that cage and you don't let them out until one of them win, it's O'Malley's going to win. I'm telling you, O'Malley's going to win that fight. He might get taken down. And the only reason O'Malley got a little bit tired is because he has to rush back to his feet. He has to fight hard to get this guy off him. He has to work against the clock. If you take the clock away, O'Malley beats him easily. I mean, how could he beat O'Malley? How? He can't pass O'Malley's guard. He can't submit O'Malley. I mean, he can't really do anything to O'Malley. O'Malley's eventually going to piece. Imagine, look, even after, during round 5, Merab was hurt, running, like he wasn't looking good. That was not a good round for Merab. He got a takedown near the end. Yeah, so what? You took him down. So what? Imagine Merab had to do that nonstop for an endless amount of time. He would eventually get clipped. He would eventually get subbed. I mean, he just has no finishing. It's just crazy to me. And look, the guy's world champion. I don't want to be negative here. The guy's world champion. He reached an incredible milestone, incredible achievement in his life. However, he needs to address it. If I was his trainer, I would address it on a daily basis. He needs to become a submission threat, a ground and pound threat, a stand-up threat, finishing threat. I mean, a finishing threat. Of course, the man is a threat, but not a finishing threat. He can't do 10 more fights in his career and get 0 finishes. He can't. It will ruin his fan base. It will really be a stigma on his back. Coach Zahabi for president. That's from Ali. I like that, man. I like that. I wouldn't mind. Okay, what else we got here, guys? How long have we been doing? 33 minutes on the fight. You don't know what you're missing, coach. Barbecue is incredible. That's from Jimmy Johnson. Well, you know I love barbecue, but where's the barbecue at? Okay, what else we got here? That's what I was saying when I was watching the fight. O'Malley had to back up Merab with the double jab and keep him on the back foot. That's from Sugar Shane. Sugar, I agree. At one point, after round 1, he had to change and he had to start backing up Merab and piling up numbers. He was looking for the perfect shot. It's going to be hard to land a perfect shot on a guy moving around like Merab. Okay, and it can happen. That's the thing. So sometimes it's not the perfect storm. The fight is not the perfect storm. You gotta be more than just a guy who snipes people. And he does a fantastic job at that. But you saw like Merab barely threw any punches. Barely. He didn't want to get sniped. You gotta force him. You gotta walk him down. You gotta get short. You gotta get at his height. And you gotta box him in, and you gotta cut him off. And he's either has to shoot or trade with me. But I'm not gonna let him run around and shoot in my legs when he's ready. No. I gotta force him to make a mistake. Coach, do you think the K-guard will be used more in the pro MMA scene? ? That's from Deep. Death to Derp. Yes, I do think in the future, as the MMA develops more in jiu-jitsu, K-guard will be a huge step forward in MMA, because I'm telling you, I do it all the time. Especially when I have a heavy-based wrestler on top of me. I love to go K-guard. It's my favorite guard. Thoughts on Prime Ben Henderson beat up Diaz bad? That's from Nitro. Yeah, he did. Benson Henderson was one of the greats as well. Definitely. No doubt about it. Merab sucks. I'm bummed. Sphere deserved better. That's from Tuxedo Mask. Ouch. That was very harsh. No, man. He doesn't suck. He's a beast, guys. Merab is a beast. He's a phenom. But what is he doing in there that makes him so successful? It's his takedowns. He's not a striking threat per se. He really doesn't really hurt people. But he puts so much pressure, both striking and wrestling. He just doesn't relent. He just is unrelentable with his takedowns. It's fascinating. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see the Alexa Grasso fight. I didn't have the time to watch it. However, I do look forward to watching it. How does Omar go about dealing with Merab's relentless style? I'm thinking maybe stuff the takedowns and punish him in the clinch. Thoughts? ? That's from Ryan. I tell you that I guarantee you Umar is going to shoot on Merab. That's going to be his solution. He's going to strike. He's got the quick legs. He's got very good high kicks. He's going to use them to lift up the guard of Merab, and then he's going to shoot into Merab's legs. I guarantee you he's going to also try to take down Merab. All right, guys. I think we can wrap it up for this fight. We've been on it for 37 minutes. We can open it up now to ask me anything. Let's talk about fitness, other fights, other upcoming fights, anything absolutely. Tonight's going to be a little bit shorter because I'm pretty zapped and I need to get to bed. So let's... thoughts on Herb Dean telling Merab to work? That's from John T-Bone. Look, that's such a good point. I don't like when refs say that. I really don't like it. I know the commentators made a big deal about it. They weren't happy about it. I also don't like it. I think you should only tell them to work if there's literally no action and you're about to split them apart. But there was action. These guys were in a difficult fight, and Merab was working. I just think a referee should only say that. He should say blue work, like who's the staller, or red work, or Merab. You can call them by their first name, but you got to tell the guy work. If you're about to break the position. So let's say I take you down, and I'm just holding you. He might say Zahabi work. Because he's going to take away that position from me if I don't try to progress because he sees that I'm stalling. That makes sense. But they were working. There was plenty of action. There was no reason to stand them up. So why are you telling them to work? That was a question I'd love to ask him. Coach, you missed my super chat about running a school. That's from David. David, you need to ask that kind of question after we open it up to ask me anything. I'm going to look it up for you. Let me see here. Oh, salam, Coach. I have my own gym. I would love to organize a seminar in Kuwait with you. That's from Ishmael. Ishmael, if I'm ever in Kuwait, I will announce it on this channel, and I will definitely be happy to do it. Hey, for us, I grew up training karate before BJJ and MMA. What's up your top advice for running an MMA school? Thanks for all your wisdom you share. Thank you, David. That's really nice of you. What's your advice for running an MMA school? Well, give the best classes you can, have a great jiu-jitsu program, a great wrestling program, a great striking program, have MMA days. What I would suggest, David, is you come train with me for a week or two, come visit me and see how we do it. You need big glove sparring, you need MMA glove sparring. There's so much to do. It's just so much to cover. But I teach 3 practices a day. It starts with pro practice in the morning, so it's usually striking and wrestling drills. And then we have jiu-jitsu class at 12 o'clock, which is wrestling. All my jiu-jitsu classes have wrestling in them. And then at night, there's more wrestling and jiu-jitsu. And of course, guys who are prepping for fights, they might do pad work, they might do bag work, they'll do a striking session or cardio. But look, at the end of the day, you need to do all 3 martial arts. So striking, wrestling, ground, and then you need a good conditioning. I'm trying to put up number 4 here. My left hand, for some reason, is not flexible enough. You need to have good conditioning. So good conditioning is like you need to have the proper equipment. You need basic equipment, very basic, but proper equipment. And then you can have yourself an incredible school. Different cultures have different moral compasses. Does this undercut the concept of a theological point of view? That's from Kasim. Kasim is asking a very, very profound question. Now, look, he's saying, look, some people say, look, because we know morality exists, we have this moral compass within us, then that means there must be a God, because you couldn't have this moral sense if God didn't exist. Okay, now this is a very ancient question. A lot of you might be like, wow, I don't see the connection between the two. I'm not going to go over it again because I've done it many times in the past, but let me guys guarantee you something. The most hardcore atheists agree with us. I'm a rationalist, okay? So the most hardcore atheist, the most famous hardcore atheist, David Hume, he famously said, you can't get an is from an ought. Excuse me, you can't get an ought from an is. If the world is in a certain way, don't say it ought to be a certain way, because then you're admitting you have this moral compass. Remember, don't forget, guys, David Hume was like the biggest atheist. Biggest atheist. He makes Richard Dawkins look like Mickey Mouse, okay, intellectually. David Hume understood our rationalist arguments very well, and he attacked them viciously. Richard Dawkins is completely lost. He's like a little mouse, and people praise him like he's a lion, but he's really just a mouse. And I know you guys, like, I know a lot of people out there think he's a brilliant man, but believe me, in philosophical circles, he's not. His arguments are full of fallacies, and it's quite embarrassing. If we have a sense of morality, how could it be that material substance and the void made morality? It can't be. It's what we say. It's called an ontological difference. Ontological means it's something of a different nature. So even David Hume admitted that. He's like, look, I'm an atheist. I can't admit that morality exists. I can't admit it. So that means you have to see somebody commit a murder or steal or rape or do something horrible, and you can be like, oh, that's just matter. That's rearranging matter. That's just matter rearranging itself. None of us do that. We all have this sense within us. We're like, whoa, wait a second. That's bad. That's evil. Now, our friend Kasim is asking a very profound question. He's saying, look, different cultures have different moral compasses. They think morality is relative. Does this undercut the concept from an theological point of view? Does that mean like, hey, maybe because it's relative, it doesn't apply? It doesn't mean, because, if you have one God, you'd have one morality. Doesn't that undercut you? No, it doesn't. I'll tell you why, okay? Let me explain you why. And this is a very, very good question. Because the principles are all the same. It's the expression of those principles that change over time. Now, here's the thing. Like, a lot of people think, like, for instance, we have Muslims who have a Quran. Okay, a lot of people think, oh, if the Quran says something, that rule is forever like that. It's not true. That's a lie. It's not true. It's a misunderstanding. It's a very low-level understanding of what the Quran, because the Quran itself tells you, the Quran itself, it says, look, it says God's word will never change. And then God changes the words. He says, look, God replaces an ayat, a verse, with one as good as it or better. But God's words never change. So what does it mean? Like, God's rules never change. God's principles never change. The laws never change in principle. What's the principles? Justice, mercy, understand? We take these principles and then we apply them to the eras and times and places. And there's so much abundance of proof of this, okay? Because, look, Muslims used to be allowed to drink alcohol once upon a time. Then the Quran abrogates the alcohol verses and forbids it. Why? Because, okay, first it said, don't be drunk during your prayer. So you have to limit drinking till the night, because we have prayers, we have 5 prayers in a day. So if you were going to get drunk, you could only get drunk after the last prayer, because it will give you time to sober up before the morning prayer. Because you couldn't get drunk between the daily prayers, because the daytime prayers, I should say, because you wouldn't have time to sober up. So the Muslims went from drinking all the time to drinking very rarely, or drinking only at night, or drinking a little bit during the day. Then after that, alcohol was completely forbidden. Now, doesn't one verse contradict the other? No. The principle is doing what's best for your health, staying healthy, what's best for the community. We took it one step at a time. We gradually processed to drinking no alcohol. So there's a flexibility. So for instance, in the Quran, if you steal, and you have to steal 3 times, and it has to be like an amount that's more for, they could feed a family, it has to be malicious, okay? But if you do steal 3 times, and it is malicious, and it's not because you're starving or super desperate, it's because you're greedy and you're trying to steal from people and you're a thief, we can cut your hand off. But that was a time where there was no prison system. So what do? You catch a thief. What do you do with him? Do you execute him? No. Do you let him go? Well, you caught him 3 times. That guy's going to keep stealing. What do you do with him? There's no prison system. We're out here in the desert. What do you do with him? Well, let's cut his hand off. Why? He won't steal again. If he does, well, we'll cut his other hand off, and then he can't steal. The man can't steal again. I think he'll get the message now if we cut his hand off. Now, we're in Arabia. A lot of people would want to kill him. No, we're not going to kill him. That's too vicious. Let's just cut his hand off. He can live the rest of his life. He'll never steal again. We won't have to worry about him. Now, today, do we do that anymore? No. Why? We have prison systems. We have the resources and the infrastructure to build a prison. So the principle is to be merciful, to stop the plague on society, stop the damage happening to society, but also do it in the most merciful, kind way. That's the principles behind it all. How are we going to interpret it now in our day and age? Are we going to do like they did in the in the 7th century? No, we're not going to do that. Now we have a prison system. There's no need for that. So there is a way to maneuver as long as we stay true to the principles. So I'll tell you that all religions either stay true to the principles for their time, and that's why you see differences, or there was corruptions, and that's why you see differences. So for sure there was corruptions, and for sure in their time and place, what they saw as right and wrong made sense for their paradigm of that time. Hello, Coach. I'm in Canada and a man of faith with a family. How do you deal with rainbow propaganda that is pushed on our children in school that goes against my family's beliefs? Last week in preschool, this was pushed on my 4-year-old daughter. That's from The Aviator. Aviator, you're a gentleman and a scholar, and that's a very difficult question to answer. I'll tell you why. Because they may cancel me. They may edit me. They may flag me. They may shut me up. Look, here's the thing. Parents ask me this all the time. It's crazy. It's such a crazy question. People get this to me all the time. And I have an answer for you. I talk to my kids. I don't let them indoctrinate my children, teach my children their culture, their way of life, and then they come home and there's no competing views. No. Kids, go to school, spend 8 hours a day with these people. And then when you come back to me, we're going to spend, an hour watching TV, and we're not going to talk. We're going to have dinner and go to bed, and we don't really dialogue. No. What did you learn in school today? What happened? Oh, they brought you this. They brought you that. So I talk to my kids about it. I talk to my kids. I tell my kids, look, some people out there have 2 moms, 2 dads. Some people have this and that. Some people feel like they're a girl. They're born in a boy's body, but they feel like in between their ears, they're a girl. I tell all this stuff to my kids. Here's why. I know some people want to homeschool their kids because of this. You can't shelter them from the world. Are you going to block off the internet? Are you going to forbid your children from going on the internet? So homeschooling is, you're going to homeschool them, okay? You're going to spend a lot of time with them. You're going to teach them your way of life. That's fantastic. Great. Good step. However, they're still going to be exposed to it when they go online, when they meet other people. They're going to go out into the world and they're going to see somebody, of that persuasion, and how are they going to deal with it? That's why, in my opinion, the best way to deal with it is to dialogue. Why are we the way they are? Why are we the way we are? That's the thing. That's like when you start becoming a philosopher, you start asking, why is it this way? You start asking the right questions. And I tell my kids, number one, I tell them, look, top of the list, top of the list. If I was of that persuasion, you wouldn't exist. That's what I tell them. Think about it. If I was part of the rainbow team, I tell them you wouldn't exist. It takes a man and a woman to make a family. So, my favorite meme of the 2024, my favorite meme. Oh my God, it's so crazy. It's a picture of 2 people drinking out of the toilet. Like they have these straws and they're drinking out of the toilet. I know, gross, right? Totally gross. So you see 2 people, why the hell are they drinking out of the toilet? That's disgusting. They have straws, sticking them like long straws in the toilet, and they're drinking water from the toilet. And the meme reads, water is water. And I was like, oh my God, I laughed so hard. Now, I tell my kids, water is not water. Look, if the water between me and your mom didn't exist, you wouldn't exist. If the love between me and your mom didn't exist, you would not exist. So think about that. And I tell my kids, look, when you were born in a male body. Okay, I tell my sons, I taught you when you were born that you're a man. I chose for you that you're a man. I chose, not you're going to choose. I didn't ask you, hey, do you want to smoke? Do you not want to smoke? I said, no, my son's too young to decide if he wants to smoke or not. I'm going to decide that he doesn't smoke. Hey, does your son want to drink whiskey? No. He's way too young to decide that. I'm going to decide on his behalf. My sons want to eat candy all day. No, I decided for them. They cannot eat candy all day. It's going to make them ill. It's going to give them disease. I decided for you all these things before you ever became conscious of these decisions. I tell them, I decided. Me and your mom decided. Why did we decide these things? Well, we wanted you to be healthy, so we limited your candy. We wanted you to be strong, so we made you do physical training. We wanted you to be smart, so we put you in school. We read to you. We wanted you to be educated, so we taught you different languages. We wanted this for you, so everything was to your benefit. Everything we did was for your benefit. Yes, you wanted to eat chocolate and candies all day, but I limited you. Why? Your teeth, your health, your growth, etc., your energy levels. It was all for you. Long-term thinking. We want you to be happy, healthy, successful. Now I tell them, look, when you look in the mirror, you're going to see body parts of a man. But some people, their psychology, they see a man in the mirror, but they feel like a woman. That's what they call gender dysmorphia. I see a man, but I wish it was a woman. Like there's a disharmony there. I see a man in the mirror, but I feel like a woman inside. It doesn't jive. It doesn't gel. There's no harmony. So I told him, look, I know you, as you grow up, you're going to see a man. So I programmed you as a man. I will tell you, oh, good boy. You're such a good boy. Oh, boys do this. Boys do that. I gave you all the indoctrination of a boy. Now, your mind, when it's very young, it's super fertile. Super fertile. And I purposely did that. I tell them, of course. I tell my sons, of course. Now, when you look in the mirror, you see a man and you feel like a man. You identify as a man. Why on earth would I tell you, hey, son, no, hey, person, you decide for yourself how you feel inside. Why the hell would I do that? Now you're going to look in the mirror, you're going to be like, oh, I see a beard. I wish I saw long, beautiful blonde locks. And I was a girl. Not that a man can't be blonde, but you know what I mean? Like, how come I didn't see any, like, soft skin and not a hair? No, I don't want my son's possibly choosing wrong. What does he know what he wants to be? He's a child. He's a child. Now I tell my sons, I said, look, if I did all that, and then you tell me you have alphabet feelings, then I would believe, hey, those are sincere. Those are not a byproduct of cultural influence. Because here's what people don't know. You can absolutely, guys, please, I know every time we talk about this, there's so much controversy. Read any book on psychology. It's nature and nurture. The two together make who we are. There's no one way to differentiate between the two perfectly. We are a byproduct of our genetics and how we were raised. It's nature and nurture. How you were nurtured, how your nature is, meaning your genetics. Now, I'll tell you, the Greeks were conditioned to be, how should I say? The young Greek boys were groomed. They were groomed to give themselves to older men. And the older men didn't see themselves as alphabet people. They didn't. There were alphabet people at the time, of course. But the men did not see themselves as alphabet people. No, not at all. They saw themselves as just being dominant. That's what dominant men do. We take young boys and we have our way with them. Now, this was groomed into them. If you read their literature, which I specialize in Greek philosophy, they're completely unashamed. Today, that would be a crime. Okay, it would be a crime. Absolutely, 100% a crime. But to them, in their time, it wasn't a crime. To them, it was perfectly normal. They have no shame about it whatsoever. They talk about it like openly. It's not a secret. And parents groom their own children to go, hey, you want to be a politician? Well, you're gonna have to give that politician what he wants if you want him to spend his time teaching you the ways of a politician. Okay, so it was a different time, but it certainly proves that you can be groomed. Now, I think today we went from 1% alphabet to 17%. Now, some people are going to tell us, well, that's because people are more brave now, or they're more accepted. So that's why people are admitting it to it more. Before, those 16% were probably hiding. It could very well be. But I also think, just what I've observed on the internet, that it seems like a lot of people want to be that lifestyle just because they get more likes, they get more praise, they get more acceptance. They're not sure. Imagine you grew up and they told you, hey, you could be in love with a boy and you could be in love with a girl. Well, to you, you're like, well, why don't I just try both? I have no idea. I'm very grateful my parents didn't take me down that route. I'm very, very grateful for my traditional upbringing. Very grateful. Why? Because now I have 3 beautiful children and a beautiful wife. And when I look into the mirror, I see a man and I feel like a man. I'm very grateful to the tradition that I was born in. All right, guys, I'm always doing a mix of super chats and non-super chats. This is from George. Assalamu alaikum, coach. If you seek to achieve greatness in MMA, how do you build self-belief? What determines a great? What makes you different from those around you? ? How do you know you're not just a number? Is it your creativity, technique, style? ? That's from George. George, I'll tell you something. A lot of people, when they find success, it's hard work, man. It's hard work. They see their goal. They take their steps towards that goal. I've talked about it so many times. They get organized. Your daily routine should be designed towards achieving your goal. You should be researching your goal. You should be find a mentor. Finding a mentor is also a great way to achieve your goals. Find somebody who's done what you want to do. Go observe them. Go watch them. Read books on the topic. Like how much fire do you have to reach your goal? That's the question. How much fire do you have? Look, I always tell people, look, if you put everything you got into achieving your goal, you're going to reach like the 95 percentile at least. You might not get to world champion because that's like, I think you need hard work and a gift from God. But you can reach to the 95 percentile. Okay. Now, you could even reach world championship. I'm just saying it's not guaranteed. But I'm telling you, if you put every ounce of energy you have to reach your goal, you are very likely to land at least very close to it. Incredibly close to it. Okay, guys, let me see here. What's the rainbow's significance in Islam? That's from Daniel Quinn. I don't know what you mean by its significance. Tuxedo says, love is love, water is water, guru is piggy. What do you guys heckle the poor man? Oh, boy. Vegan Gains Life said he fight you in MMA, but you wouldn't. If he showed up to your gym, he would said you're a coward for not debating. Look at his debate with Hamas supporter. I don't know what that means. Look, Vegan Gains, if he ever was in front of me, I think he would probably buckle down and fall down on his knees. Okay, I don't think he would ever want to fight me. I think it's insane. Debate him. I don't want to debate him on a topic of Middle East because he's not a Middle East expert. Neither am I. He's not a historian. All the international bodies have spoken. Literally, judges world, every single international body has commented on this. Like, it's an absurdity for him to think he's an authority to want to debate me. Like, why does he want to debate me so bad? You know, I'll tell you why. Because he's so desperate for clicks. Vegan Gains, I know you're going to hear this. You're so desperate for clicks, man. Like, do something else with your life. I do this for fun. I'm not doing this because I'm so desperate. I need clicks. Let me go and hunt down this MMA coach because I need the kids to click. Because if they don't click, I don't get paid. He lives off being a troll, guys. Me, I would talk to people. I talk to only people who are academics. People with, have a proper dialogue, respectful. Him, he's just looking to clip and like make like shocking videos. MMA coach says this. I said this to him. Oh, look, and insulting. It's just like toilet. It's like conversation that belongs in the toilet. And I know it's big on the internet. People try to insult each other and clip things and just try to make like viral videos because they want that money. They want that money. They want that money. They're going to say inflammatory things. They're going to say something vile. Why? They want that money. They want that money. They're going to say anything just to get a rise out of you. Why would I give him the satisfaction? Why would I let him have his money? Why would I help him? I don't give a... Look, at first I was willing to have a dialogue over veganism. But then I saw where he puts a knife to his own throat in his thumbnail. Like he's like... I'm like, I'm not going to talk to this guy, man. It's ridiculous. I have a wife and kids, man. I have a family gym. People watch my channel. People follow me. Like, why the hell would I put this guy on my channel? Why the hell would I entertain this guy? And then not only that, he's such a vile human being. Like, he's really a vile human being. I didn't know he was such a thug. He's such a little clown. So, he just wants back and forth. He wants drama because he wants clicks. Oh, I want that drama. I want clicks. Well, get him somewhere else. I'm not, anybody who watches this channel knows I don't do that. I'm not a vile person. I'm not the type of person who's going to go and like say inflammatory things just because I need clicks. I don't need the clicks that badly. I'm not so desperate for the clicks. Oh, he's so desperate for the clicks. He'll do anything for the clicks. Oh, I'll say or do anything. I'll act like a jackass on the internet. I'll say the most I'll insult millions of people. I'll be a vegan that's pro-genocide. Even that for clicks. The guy's a vegan because he thinks it's not nice to kill the animals. But they're bombing civilians. They're bombing the deaths in Gaza were like astronomical. Now they're saying that the numbers are coming out that, hey, it could be way more than 45,000 that we're at. Way more. That's not counting the people who died indirectly from bombings, the famine, etc., the people under the rubble. When the numbers are in, guys, it's going to be astronomical. We're talking about it today. They're talking about hundreds of thousands. When the numbers are finally in, people are going to be like, oh, this was a horrible genocide. This was horrific. And Vegan Gains is going to be on record for saying, I thought it was the right way to go about it. Let me tell you something, Vegan Gains, you moron. Every international body disagrees with you. Professional judges, people who study the law as a career. And you're not a philosopher. You're not a politician. You're not a historian. You're not a judge. You're not a master of law. You're nothing. You're just a guy who talks about veganism and bodybuilds. Why on earth would I have a dialogue with a person like this? Why? You know what? I'm willing to have a dialogue with anybody, even somebody who's not credentialed. However, they'd have to be at least a civil human being. Why would I have a conversation with a guy who has no credentials and on top of it, he's a real asshole? That's the question I'm asking everybody. Salam coach, I'm a blue belt and I'm training my friends in BJJ who is new. Which of your instructionals do you recommend we start with? That's from Shafiq Becca. I would tell you start with speed drills. I have 2 videos called speed drills. Volume 1 is bottom position, guard attacks, open guard attacks, Ashigarami speed drills, really important stuff. And then the passing speed drills. I'll tell you, if you want to go from white belt to blue belt, those 2 videos are the way to go. Coach, please talk on Khamzat versus Whitaker. How does it go? What is your prediction? Thanks. Is that fight booked right now? What's the date? Hold on, let me see this. Okay, Khamzat versus Whitaker. That is October 26th. Wow, that's coming up. It's co-main event. Is that a 5-rounder? Guys, if it's a 5-rounder, it's going to be really tough. That's a very tough fight, man. Whitaker is a very tough guy. I can't wait to see it. I think it's a 50-50 fight. I'm going to have to go through their video and analyze it. I might do a breakdown on this fight. But this is a very, very difficult fight. Coach, prediction time. Once superstar of UFC, Mr. Conor McGregor, puts his drinks down and sobers up, who do you have for the trilogy against Nate Diaz? It's 1-1. Can Nate dog Diaz outwork Conor again at the age of 40? Oh, if they fought again, if it was at 170, yeah, it'd probably be at 170. I don't know. Conor's like, he's really juiced up, though. I mean, he's really like ridiculously juiced up. That's a tough call. I think I would go with Diaz. If it's a five rounder, no 3-rounder, 5-rounder, I think I would go with Diaz. Khamzat getting knocked out. That's from Larry Bird. That's possible, man. Whitaker's a hard hitter, but believe me, so is Khamzat. And Khamzat's wrestling is ridiculous, man. This is a very difficult fight to call. Very difficult. This is going to be Khamzat's biggest challenge, man. Biggest challenge. It's going to be incredible. Coach, thoughts on Sean's coach talking to Merab and Herb Dean? It's illegal. That's from Smoke TJ. Guys, you're not allowed to talk to the other fighter. You're not allowed. It's called excessive coaching. There is a rule for excessive coaching. You can't bang on the side and yell. If you yell too much, if you yell too loud, if you talk too, like, you can, guys, you'd have to do something crazy to get called on excessive coaching. There is a rule called excessive coaching. There is. It does exist. And I know exactly why it became that rule, because there was a, one day when I get GSP on the podcast, we're going to talk about excessive coaching. His old former coach used to yell so much. He used to bang on the apron. He used to scream so much on top of his lungs at George that they created a rule, excessive coaching. They created that rule ever since then. We're talking about like 20 plus years ago. Ever since then, at the rule meetings, they'll tell us no excessive coaching, no banging, no yelling, no excessive yelling, no threatening, no, because he would like curse. You better get that. You better do this. You better. I'm like, he would curse violently, and they thought it was ridiculous. So they made a rule: you can coach, but you can't get too into it. You can't heckle the other side. You can't insult the other side. They don't, because the thing is, what they're really worried about. It's not the words, that the corners will start fighting each other. The corners can come around the octagon and start punching each other. It has happened, believe me. Not in UFC, but it does happen. I almost got into a fight once with another cornerman, big time. One of my fighters was in there. It was a regional show. He was beating up this guy, and the guy upkicked him. But when he upkicked him, it stunned the fighter I was working with. The fighter was stunned, and then the guy kept kicking him in the face illegally. And then as he was going down, he kicked him again. It was like 3 or 4 illegal upkicks because my partner was on his knees. And I looked at the other corner. I was like, I was like this, what the hell is that? And they were laughing. The other cornerman was laughing. The other corner was laughing. They were laughing. This is funny. So I got really pissed off. And this fight was actually on Fight Pass. So I get in the ring. I go check on my fighter. He was really hurt. I go to the fighter that he was fighting. I pushed him, and I was like, I told him, you're a real piece of you know what. And I told him, the cornerman too, I said, you guys are laughing. I'm gonna see you outside. So I threatened him. I said, let's go meet outside right now. I'm gonna show you who's laughing. I was really pissed off because they just kicked my fighter in the face 3 times illegally, at least 3 times, like a bicycle kick. It was bicycle kicking, and it was like kicking, and I was like, whoa, that's insane, man. Well, 1 illegal up kick accidentally, okay, but he was literally bicycle kicking the face. I was like, what is this? I was really furious. And the fact that the other corner was laughing, I went in there and I insulted them. I threatened them, and I said, look, we're going to meet outside. The regie came in, they grabbed me, they threw me out of the building. That's how upset I was. I was like, oh no, I'm not going to let them go. No. You want to laugh about this? Let's go right now. And they took me out of the building. They escorted me out. They separated us. And then the other side apologized later. They apologized publicly, so I let it slide. I have no beef with them whatsoever, but I let it go. But they apologized for the behavior and what happened, and it was totally wrong and whatever. Since then, we let it slide. But at the time, believe me, I was furious, man. Like, because I've seen it before, corners fight. It's really something they want to avoid. So imagine you're heckling the other guy. The guy gets pissed off. Look what happened with Khabib in Vegas. He jumped off the fence. Things happen like that, So that can start a big, big fight, and the fans might get involved. Like, they want to stop the chaos, right? 1F3. When doing Kenny Bassami from Reverse X? Okay, what about it? Vegan Gains is in the chats. Hello, Vegan Gains. Guys, Vegan Gains so desperate for clicks and views and this and that. He's going to come and heckle the guys in here. Vegan Gains, the big Vegan Gains is here for his little clicks. He needs clicks, guys. He needs them so bad. He's going to come in here and start insulting people because he wants to trigger us. Oh, we have to go to his site and talk to him. And he's got to get, what a egomaniac. Vegan Gains, get the hell out of here. Vegan Gains. Yeah, someone's triggered. Vegan Gains, you gotta get a slap from me. Why don't you just come on down? Come on down and get a slap. I have to kick out little Vegan Gains. He's gonna go be nice to a lamb now. He's gonna go hug a chicken. But when they bomb innocent children around the world, oh no, that's perfectly fine. Oh yeah, because the war started on October 7th. Nothing happened before then. No. The Nakba never happened. Deir Yassin massacres never happened. All these things never happened. Not that I excuse October 7th. Of course I don't. But however, there's a context to it all. It's a war. There's inhumanities. There's war crimes on both sides. And I always acknowledge both war crimes, and I condemn all war crimes. However, this imbecile here, he's going to go hug and sleep with a little lamb, but then he's going to see little children being bombed and starved. Oh, that's fine. Oh, that's necessary. It has to be done. Imbecile. Yeah. Imbeciles. Why would I? There's a great saying. It's hard to win in a conversation with an intelligent person, but with an idiot, it's impossible. With an idiot, with an uneducated ignoramus, somebody who cites non-academic sources and tries to pass them off as true, is an imbecile. Like, you didn't go to university, you didn't go to college, you didn't get a degree. Who the hell cites a source from the internet that's not academic? Oh, look at this source. This happened in history. Who said? Some guy on the internet? Some imbecile on the internet? Some troll site? Oh, look, I'm citing troll sites. What a clown, man. You have to be an imbecile. Like, honestly, what level of debauchery are we at? Like, honestly. Such clowns in the world. It's crazy. So many clowns in the world, man. It's crazy. The internet just shows you like how people are, man. It's insane. They're hiding behind their little keyboards and little fingers type away, and they get such a thrill from it. Wow, I got a thrill. Man, such clowns. Mighty Mouse made a vid ranking the best MMA gloves, and the number one are the original Pride gloves. He owns a pair. What do you consider the best MMA gloves? What are the best brand quality? That's from John. John, I totally agree. The Pride gloves were the best because they had a curve. So if when you're boxing, you want to relax your hand, right? You want to open your hand and relax it. Well, the UFC gloves, the MMA gloves, they kind of keep your hand in this. Like, if I relax my hand, it's kind of closed, right? But because I have a glove on, it actually keeps my hand open. So if I had an MMA glove and I just relaxed my hand would be kind of like this position. Where if I don't have a glove and gauze, you see there's no glove and gauze here to keep my hand open. So my hand will kind of collapse like so. But if you put gauze and then a glove on, the glove is stiff, it kind of holds your fingers up. So when you're pawing and all that, your fingers go in people's eyes. The Pride glove had a curve. So you'd have the gauze and the Pride glove will have a curve. So when you relax your hand, they just had your hands tucked in like this. So you get way less eye pokes, way less. I'm telling you, dramatically less. I can't understand why they don't make a curved glove. I just don't understand it. And plus, when you have a curved glove, it's easier to grab. It's more relaxed. Because the common MMA gloves you have in the States, the gauze and the glove actually resist your gripping. You have to grip against the glove. Whereas the Pride glove, put your hand in this position. So you want to make a fist? Great. You want to grab onto a wrist or something? Great. So it was just a much better glove. I have never argued with an ignorant fool and won, nor have I argued with a rational person and lost. That's from Hazrat Ali. That's a great quote. Yes, that's the one I was trying to remember. Like, there's a that's just, different cultures have that similar quote, but it's a beautiful one. What's the difference between analytical and continental philosophy? That's from Bariclo. Well, it's not really, that's a very niche question. Very niche. Like, I'd have to look it up, but basically, it's a very niche division. Like, nobody really uses that kind of lingo, that kind of language in philosophy. Like, you'd have to be a continental type philosopher to really zero in on that. But that's like enlightenment, like a certain sliver of philosophy. It's not really something we focus on, but if you look it up, you'll see exactly what niche of philosophy it is. Prime Tony versus Max in a 5-rounder. Who you got, coach? That's from Andre. I would pick Max Holloway. Max Holloway for sure. Vegan Gains is going to be coming for you. That's from Gray. Well, that's really great. I can't wait. Let him come. Let him walk in my gym. I would love to see that. Can't wait for Vegan Gains to come for me. Make sure to bring carrot sticks. Pack a lunch. Andrew Tate versus Sneeko, coach. That's some dedicated one. Well, Andrew Tate was a professional fighter, so you're going to have to go with Andrew Tate. MMA Guru banned me for nothing and racists in the chat are running wild. Choose better moderators. What? MMA Guru is banned me for nothing and racists in the chat are running wild. No, there's no racist in the chat. If he banned you, I'm sure you had a good reason. Meilleur gym de la rive sud que tu recommanderais. That's from Lifo. Actually, I'm not sure. Sorry to say. I don't want to start a war. Coach, what's your advice sometimes when I'm weight training in the gym? After 15 minutes, I just walk out. Last 3 months, I haven't been able to get momentum in anything or discipline. That's from T2 Official. Wow, it sounds like you lost motivation. Why don't you try doing something that's more exciting? If you're not into jiu-jitsu, you're not into, maybe try boxing, try kickboxing, or try basketball, try another sport. Try a sport that you're excited to go and do, And then I would tell you guys, you should know some jiu-jitsu, some boxing. You should know some. You don't have to be the best fighter in the world, but you should know some level of martial arts. Like, I'm a big believer in doing bag work. Like, you have to do bag work. I don't care if you're a hockey player. I don't care if you're an architect. Like, you have to know how to throw a punch. It's such an important thing. It's a very important tool. If Vegan Gains ever walks into my gym, he'll realize what an important tool it is. Like, he'll realize, like, wow, those guys can really punch. It's a very, very important tool. Of course, so is grappling and wrestling, but throwing a punch is very, and also it's a great way to get in shape. Having a boxing routine is the best way to stay fit. And you have a moron walk into your gym, bang, you flatten him. You crush his nose. You make him realize, hey, he shouldn't have walked in here and signed the waiver. That was crazy. That was such a dumb thing to do. Coach, what's your advice on golfers and tennis elbow? That's from Itchy Richie. I would tell you, you overstrained your forearm muscles, and you have to massage the forearm muscles. You have to rest, of course, and bicep and tricep muscles might be overstrained as well, but it's usually the forearm muscles. And you got to give an adequate rest. Sometimes you get it from putting your elbow too much on the mat, and of course, gripping, contusions, always hitting your elbow on the mat. So sometimes wearing an elbow sleeve can help. I like the neoprene sleeve because it keeps it warm, so it helps me with my tennis elbow. I haven't had tennis elbow in a very long time. But I'll tell you, you got to stretch and massage your forearm muscles. Usually the tension is there. Coach is hilarious when he's low-key angry. That's from Angel. Coach, he made Sneeko and Andrew online beef yesterday. Well, I didn't get into it. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let's hear the beef. What were they beefing about? I know you guys love beef. Beef explained. I'm gonna have to read this later, man. What's this about? This is somebody else's channel. I'll probably get flagged if I play this. Okay, well, you know, Sneeko reached out to me recently. He wanted to come do a video, so I'll probably do that with him in the future. But when I was available, he wasn't available. When he was available, I wasn't available. Both of us are super busy. Even Vegan Gains loves beef. That's from Aaron. Yeah, he likes the beef. That's for sure. He loves the beef. He needs the beef, man. He needs those clicks. He's so desperate for clicks. Oh, my God. Oh, Vegan Gains can beat me up because he's twice my size. Okay, yeah, okay. Come give it a try. He might never walk the same way again. He might never talk the same way again. He might be in disability after that. But hey, if you want to roll the dice, come on, give it a try. Twice my size. What a dumbass. So what? So what? So what? Have you watched my videos, boy? Go watch the videos. Go understand how many times I wrestle guys. You think when I in the gym, oh, the guy's twice my size, I can't wrestle him. Oh, the guy's twice my size, I can't box with him. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? So what? Does he? Yeah, this is what an ignoramus he is. He thinks because he's bigger. Oh, I've never wrestled before and I never boxed before and I don't know anything about fight. But I've deduced in my own little mind. I know so much about fighting. Shut the hell up, boy. You walk in that gym, you'll never walk out again. You'll never walk out the same way. They're going to wheel you out. They're going to wheel you out. Dumbass. What a dumbass. I hope he didn't say that because that's the stupidest thing. Now you know Vegan Gains is fucking brain dead. That's when you know the man is brain dead. Brain dead. Oh, I'm bigger. I must be stronger. Well, you might have your leg broken in 3 different places by the time you've realized by the time you realize you're wrong, the leg's already broken, and you're like, hey, call me an ambulance. Well, nobody's gonna call an ambulance for this guy. Let him walk out. Break his other leg and let him walk out. Oh man, some people can be so dumb, it's insane. Vegan Brain Dead, that's his name. His name is Vegan Brain Dead. Man. All right, guys, no more talk about Vegan Brain Dead, please. I see I'm stooping down to his level now. See? Like he's trying to get a rise out of me. Yeah. But if he sees me in person, he's going to be like, whoa, I didn't mean that. It was just talk. You know, it was just talk. It was just talk. Please. No, sir, it was just talk. He's going to go down on his knees. He's going to turn around and run away. He's going to become a vegan world-class sprinter. If Sean O'Malley was vegan, would he have beaten Merab? That's from Aaron. No, I doubt it. I doubt that would make any difference. Coach, what do you think is more important for a mixed martial artist development? To train in a gym with an amazing coach or a gym with great sparring partners? Thank you. That's from Eric. It depends on your development. If you're more beginner, the coach matters more. As you get more developed, it becomes more about the sparring partners. Because then you kind of know what to do. You know how to train yourself. You've been through the process of breaking through plateaus. That's really important. But early on in your career, I feel if you're with a good trainer and you learn things correctly early on, it makes for a pyramid that you can build higher. If you have technical gaps and errors that you learn very early on, like you learn to punch wrong, your mechanics are off, it's very hard for the machine to run very efficiently later on when we're trying to break through other plateaus. So the more well built your foundation is technically and condition wise, you're properly conditioned at a young age, you can go much farther up. Slam Coach, what do you think about John's versus Stipe? That's from Schiff. I'm a little less excited about that because Stipe has been away for so long. I can't even remember his last fight, actually. Let me look it up real quick. Stipe, his last fight was Ngannou, wasn't it? Yeah, Ngannou. He got knocked out by Ngannou. Now he's fighting John Jones November 16th. How old is Stipe now? Let's see. 42. I'm a little less excited about that because he's been away for a long time. And as great of a fighter he is, he's one of the great heavyweights of all time, no doubt. His fight with Ngannou was in 2021. So, it's been 3 years. I'm a little less excited about it, to be honest with you. I'm a little less excited about it. I would have liked to see him fight the current world champion. I'm forgetting his name. How could I be forgetting his name? Impossible. Give me his name in the chat. I'm forgetting. Tom Aspinall, of course. That would be ultra exciting. That would really I'd pay it. Whatever the cost is, I'd pay it. For Stipe, I'm not as excited about it, to be honest with you. Aspinall. Of course he is. Hi Faraz, thank you for explaining the innate knowledge of God. I read Ibn Tayful and you made it easier to understand. Certainly is an amazing thing. That's from True Crime. Ibn Tufayl is a very, his novel is very easy to read, but his other works are more difficult. But I'm glad to see that you enjoyed the book. What does the Quran say about psychopaths? Can they be saved? That's from Adam Rogers. That's a very difficult question. I'd have to do some research on that. But I do think there is a mention of people who are not really human. Okay, but I'd have to reread it and restudy it. It's ridiculous Espinal has to defend an interim title. That's from Monster. Well, I'm assuming John doesn't want to fight Espinal. Maybe he'd rather just fight Stipe. Stay true to your words, fans of UFC. Khamzat getting KO'd. Can't wait for Khamzat to shock the world. Robert Whitaker, I know you're working on your takedown defense, but you know that best Khamzat is. Look how he lifted DC. That's from Shiz. Shiz, I think this could be a tough one for Khamzat. Look, as much as I love Khamzat, and as much as I'm a fan of both these men, but this is a very tough fight to call. I'm telling you. Very, very tough fight. I feel like Jones is trying to protect his record as Aspinall is a real threat. That's from Monster. Look, John has literally fought everybody. I think he just maybe past this day where he wants to fight the top guy who's out of his natural division and like take a big risk. Like maybe he's past that day. Maybe he just wants to take a fight here and there where it feels good to him. I don't blame him because he's done it all. He's literally done it all. He's won 2 divisions. He's been undefeated for like over 10 years. I mean, he's really done it all. Like there's a time where I think he's probably going to want to live his life and not just like get into the most dangerous possible fight he can on a regular basis. So Aspinall is bigger, naturally, I would say. Actually, I'm not even sure about that. I think John's pretty huge as well now. But he's done it all. You can't question him. The only serious knocks that he has is his drug failures. That's it. His drug test failures. That's the biggest knock. If you didn't have that, man, you couldn't knock him. But because he has those, that's going to be that's going to be a blemish on his record. Okay, guys, no spamming, please. As usual, do not spam. All right, guys, let's start wrapping this up. I'm going to be wrapping up very shortly. Coach, do you think O'Malley could go back to the drawing board and beat Merab soon, or is the difference in wrestling skill too great? Ben, I would tell you he needs to take at least 6 months before fighting Merab again, at least. I think he needs to win another fight, do a serious wrestling camp. I think he should fight Cejudo just to test himself, make sure that he can stop a Merab takedown, because it was too one-sided. So he needs, I'm telling you, even 6 months is too short. He needs a year. He needs a year of wrestling and fine-tuning his game and fixing things, because he's a phenomenal fighter. But if he can't stay on his feet, Merab's going to be very difficult to beat. And the fact that he took him down so easily over and over again, it's going to be complicated. Is there hope? Yeah, of course there's hope. Tuxedo Mask, there's always hope. I mean, he could always come back, definitely. Absolutely. He can be world champion again. There's no doubt about it. However, it's not an easy road. It's going to be a long road, because the differential is so great. But it can be done, of course. Can you see Max KOing Ilya with a jumping, spinning back kick while Ilya slips or rolls? His head movement is beautiful, but seems too open for Muay Thai knees and kicks, etc. That's from Tommy Vang. I totally agree, man. Max Holloway has a very good spinning back kick. You can duck into a spinning back kick. We've seen it in UFC. I've seen it in kickboxing. I mean, it's not an impossible thing. It is very dangerous. I've seen it a few times, and I'm telling you, it's a very devastating thing to get back kicked in the face. I mean, the guys go out like a light, and they're out for a long. Guys, I'll tell you something. You might not have a knockout punch. You might not have a very powerful, punching ability, but a spinning back kick, anybody can knock you out with a spinning back kick. I could teach a 12-year-old girl a spinning back kick. Let's say I'm training her since she's 9, throwing a spinning back kick, and she's 12 now. She could hurt a grown man with a spinning. She could knock a grown man out with a spinning back kick to the liver. I'm telling you. You don't need to be that strong. You don't need to be that big. You don't have to be that colossal. A spinning back kick can be deadly. It could break ribs. It could hit the liver and just injure you very badly. It's a very dangerous thing. I love the spinning back kick. I think it's one of the best tools there is. If done properly and at the right time, can KO anybody. So Holloway has a very good spinning back kick. He's used it in his fights. He's a very clever guy. He did it with Gaethje. He could definitely put somebody out like that. And the fact that they're so different in height, and Elia likes to duck and bob and weave, for sure. A flying knee, a head kick, absolutely very possible. Okay, guys, I'm looking at the poll. 60% thought Merab won round 3. 40%, I'm ending the poll, 40% thought O'Malley won round 3. Bad for you, bad for the animals, bad for the planet. Okay, so I think somebody here is telling us like... yeah. What else we got here? Do you think judo or in wrestling would have been the key to beat Merab? That's from Rob R. Well, you have to have enough wrestling and judo to keep him off you from taking you down. I mean, you have to have a bare minimum. Like Jose Aldo had the pat. Like Jose Aldo fight was very close, but Jose Aldo was able to stop every single takedown. It's incredible. It's incredible how Jose at his age and at the place he is in his career can stop every takedown of the best wrestler in his division. Like the guy who's the best takedown artist in his division. And also, he did better than the champion, the current champion. Jose Aldo gave a better fight to Merab than O'Malley did. Can Umar out-grapple Merab? That's from Harrington. Yes, I do believe it's very possible. I have to go through over the footage, but it's very possible. It's going to be very close. I think they're going to take each other down. Okay, guys, we're gonna wrap this up now. We're going in on 1 hour and 40 minutes, so let's wrap this up shortly. Let's end it on a fun one, something positive, something fun. Slam Coach, did you see the episode on Joe Rogan with Robert Epstein? He was saying that our brains don't hold memory, but are more like transducers. That's from Yosef. No, I haven't seen that. I'm not sure what that means. What part of your game have you been experimenting with in the gym lately? Question mark. That's from Tyler. You know, I've been doing a lot of side choke, like the Rotolo choke. I absolutely love it. So I've been really experimenting on how to get there all the time from every position. So if I'm on the bottom, if I'm on top, it's really my new favorite choke. Instead of doing rear naked choke, instead of doing arm triangle, I now go to Rotolo and I find it like crazy powerful. I feel like it's like once you put it on, guys tap immediately. It's not, you don't have to fumble around with it. It's just so very difficult to escape or resist. Like even the most athletic guys, like the guys who are bigger and stronger, like you put it on them and they're like tap, tap, tap. Like their neck is, and there's so much pressure. And I have like medium sized arms, you know. So even with medium sized arms, it's really easy to put on, much easier to do than an arm triangle. Arm triangle, sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. But side choke, I call it side choke or rotolotine. It's just like so powerful. So my whole thing now is like, how do I corral guys to side choke? So I've been really experimenting with different ways, from mount, from side control, from half guard, from turtle, how to get to the side choke. And I feel like once I lock it in, it's going to be a wrap. I love things like that. I love submissions where they're so strong that guys don't even attempt to escape. They just tap right away. I love subs like that. Coach, early analysis on Whitaker versus Kamzat. That's from Izzy, that's such a hard fight, man. I can't look. I have a bias because I worked with Whitaker for years. Okay, and I'm a big Khamzat fan. So whatever I say, don't take my word for it. I can't do a breakdown of this fight because I can't vote against Whitaker, and I can't vote for him because I'm going to be like super biased. This is a very hard one for me to call. I don't even know what to expect. Look, think about it like this, okay? Kamaru Usman won round 3 against Khamzat. Khamzat could have finished Usman in round 1, possibly, okay, because he had his back for 4 minutes. So you can have a Khamzat that walks in and just annihilates Whitaker, takes him down, takes his back, chokes him, puts him out. It's over. And everybody's like, that was a blowout. Or you can have a Khamzat winning round 1, looking super dominant, Whitaker being patient, working his way to round 3, and then Khamzat getting tired, overextending himself, and getting beat up. Then people are like, oh, well, then you're going to get the opposite, right? So if Whitaker gets beat in round 1, everybody's going to be like, oh, Khamzat is the greatest of all time. Whitaker is really overrated. That's what people are going to say. And then if you have the opposite, everybody's going to say, oh, Khamzat is overrated and Whitaker is the best of all time. It's just how people's minds work. It's crazy. It's like, for instance, O'Malley just lost a fight. People are saying, oh, he's overhyped. He's not overhyped. The guy's a brilliant fighter. He's a phenomenal striker. He has a great counter-punching ability. He has great speed, power. He's very good at wrestling and grappling. However, he just found the guy who's his kryptonite. He's his kryptonite. Merab is his kryptonite, and Merab can beat many guys in that division. He could do that to many guys in the division. It's not an easy guy to deal with. But people always think you're as good as your last fight. It's crazy. MMA is insane. Like, first when Khamzat came on the screen, oh, he's the greatest fighter. Oh my God, and he is a great fighter. And then he had a hard fight against Kamaru, and people were like, oh, well, he barely won. Usman won. And people just flipped the narrative so quickly. These guys they're fighting at the highest level. The highest level. So it's very hard to predict. Very, very hard to predict. But at the end of the day, these guys are extremely well prepared. I like Khamzat early. I like Whitaker late. A 5-rounder, that's a long time to trade shots with Whitaker. It's a very long time. You have to finish him out early. Guys, I told you in the pre-fight analysis, if I wasn't O'Malley's coach, I would tell him we got to get it done in 2 rounds. We got to get it done. We got to win the first 2. And we can't let this guy go to the 3rd round. We got to finish him the first 10 minutes. And I think I was right. That strategy, I think, would have been a better one. Coach, are you a pro wrestling fan? ? Any experience with pro wrestlers? ? That's from Angel. I've had a few of them come to my gym. Batista came to my gym. Who else? Pro wrestling. I can't really remember. But I used to love pro wrestling when I was a kid. I used to love Hulk Hogan, of course. I used to love Bret Hitman Hart, of course. He was one of my favorites. I used to watch the wrestling during the Yokozuna era, actually. I used to watch wrestling every Saturday morning. Absolutely loved it. I visited TriStar in the winter. You caught me staring at you, and it was my first time seeing you in person, and you got weirded out. Sorry. Come on, Zubair. I'm sure if I caught you looking at me, I would have said hello. There's no way I ignored you. Unless I was busy with someone else, but I would say hello. People come in from all over all the time to visit, and don't worry, I don't get weirded out. It's cool. Just come say hello, and I'll be happy to say hi. Thoughts on Sean O'Malley versus Corey St. Hagen matchup? I love that fight. I think that fight will be a it'll be a shootout. It'll be a crazy shootout. And you have Corey St. Hagen with some good wrestling. And O'Malley, man, don't forget, he double-legged Peter Yan in the first round. That'll be an interesting fight. But if I was O'Malley, I would want to fight Cejudo, because I'd want to gear up to beat Merab. So I'd have to fight a Cejudo to beat Merab. I'd have to show the world I could beat Cejudo. Corey Sanhagen is a phenomenal fight, but then he's going to go back to doing what he does, striking, getting really sharpened up on the striking. And then let's say, for instance, he beats Corey Sanhagen, then he fights Merab again. He's not ready for Merab. I think it's a great fight. They're all great fights. I love the Sanhagen matchup. I'll definitely tune in. And I like Sanhagen in that fight. So I don't think it would be the best strategy from O'Malley. I think O'Malley has to go and face that wrestling challenge. You know, he's got to wrestle. And his next fight's got to be a guy he's got to stop the wrestling. Coach, what are your thoughts on creatine? Also, is it safe for kids? What supplements would you recommend for a 12-year-old who trains 6 times a week? That's from Jonathan. Jonathan, that's a really difficult question. I wouldn't recommend supplements for kids. Just good nutrition. I don't think there's any studies on creatine on kids. I don't think that would be ethical. Okay, so I definitely wouldn't do that. I don't give my kids any of that. And creatine, look, there's some rumors it causes hair loss. There's no hard proof, but there's some speculation that it can cause hair loss. I don't take it personally, but I think it can give you a little bit more endurance, a little bit more pump. There's definitely data that shows it helps. But I wouldn't want to risk the hair loss. So for me, I just don't use it. Sanhagen, too risky. Look, all the fights O'Malley's going to get now, they're risky. You know, he's a former world champion. He's going to have to beat somebody of repute to get back to his title. It's going to be a tough fight. There's no way he can, get an easy fight next. It's going to be a hard fight. Did you talk about Merab ducking Umar? That's from Aaron. I heard it saying Umar's not deserving. That's not true. He just beat Sanhagen. He has to fight Umar next. Like, there's just no two ways about it. Especially Khabib's going to be campaigning for that fight, and he's got the pull. He's going to be in the corner. The hype is going to be huge. I think that's his next fight, and I don't think he can avoid it. He's going to have to fight Umar. Who do you think wins, Umar or Merab? That's from Y2 Trainer. Look, I'd have to go back through their footage. It's a tough one, man. That's a really tough one. I like Umar, just initially, but I have to go through their footage. That's a tough fight, but I think Umar, man, he's going to shoot on Merab. He's going to put Merab on the back foot. He has more power. He's more explosive, but it's a very tough thing because Merab is just like, he's a freak, man. He's a total freak. Figueroa deserves it more. That's from Beehive. Well, he did beat Cheeto now. He was impressive. Definitely he's a name among them, but I think beating Sanhagen was more impressive. So Umar, in my opinion, is the next man in line. Figgy versus O'Malley or Sanhagen would be fireworks. That's some Tommy Fang. That would be interesting. Figgy versus O'Malley would be another interesting fight, but I'd rather see him versus Sanhagen. I think him versus Sanhagen would be even bigger. Do you think the two main events were boring compared to the undercard? That's from Alex Leal. I only saw the first fight and the last fight. I didn't get a chance to watch any of the other fights. So I didn't think the main event was boring. I thought it was super exciting. I love the fight. I thought it was super, super exciting. But I wouldn't want to watch it again. If they were fighting each other in 3 months, it wouldn't be as exciting. I think O'Malley has to win, come back, reinvent himself, and do another run at the title. Merab has to go on and fight Umar because the fight was one-sided. If it was a seesaw battle, guys, I'll be calling out for a rematch. Yes, let's do it. I'll be super exciting, but it was too one-sided. Salam, coach. You are the best. That's from Angel BSB. Well, thank you, sir. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Appreciate it. Does Umar have bantamweight GOAT potential, in your opinion? That's from Mateus. Yes, he does. He's a very interesting fighter. I thought his fight against Sanhagen was going to be much more difficult. I was very surprised how he was so dominant. For us, can you do a podcast discussing the JQ? I don't know what the JQ is. New Britain Poly? I'm not sure what JQ is. What did you think of Merab's ground and pound? That's from Alex Steele. It was good. He was active. He was busy. I would love to see him work through a finish, but he was busy. I didn't think he was stalling. I didn't think he was trying to freeze the action. He was working. Google account. I was hoping you weren't trying to say that. I was hoping it wasn't. It's not what it means. No, I haven't listened to the Michael Parenti vid. Goodness gracious. I remember the last show you asked me for that. Let's see here. Michael Parenti. Aristotle. Didn't I save this already? All right, I'm going to save it again. Make sure I listen to it. I'm saving it again. All right, my bad. I was supposed to listen to it last time. I didn't. A reminder, first round, my boy Khamzat relentlessly took former champ Kamaru down and locked on his neck. Almost submitted. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Khamzat proves the doubters wrong. Let's go, baby. That's from Shiz. Shiz, round 3. What about round 3? You didn't mention round 3. What happened in round 3? Round 3 was a sticky one. A lot of people thought Kamaru won the fight even. I didn't. I thought Khamzat won the fight. However, round 3 was a sticky round. It wasn't complete domination. Now, picture if there was a round 4. What if there was a round 5? Could have got sticky. Could have got really bad. Hi, for us. How can you learn the fastest when starting with BJJ or Muay Thai? That's from Bavi Popli. Well, really master the basics. Like, don't try the fancy stuff for too long. I think the first three to 5 years of training should be just basics. Do the basics better than everybody. And then after 5 years, start, doing the more flashy stuff. But I'm telling you, the guys who have really, really good basics, they go the furthest. They're the most successful. Oh, God. Are you kidding me? Muslim, love a girl who drinks. How to approach. That's some... VOPTZ gamer. Oh, my God, man. Find another girl. That's my question. That's what I'll tell you. Give her an ultimatum or find another girl. Go to another country and find another woman. How about that? Like, open your horizons, man. Open your horizons. Don't, obsess over a girl. Find another one. There's many of them all over the world. Go to a country that is more akin to your culture and get a girl from there. Broaden your horizons. Don't ever make a girl so powerful in your life that, I can't live without her. I have to have this one girl. She's the one. That's all Hollywood propaganda. She's the one. You got to have her. She's your soulmate. There's no other girl. She's the perfect girl. Listen, guys, there are 100,000 women that turn 18 every day. Literally, it's about 100,000 women. There are options opening up every single day. I tell that to my wife. I tell her, if you ever want to leave me, there's 100,000 women that turn 18 every single day. It's not a problem. There's not a shortage of women. Why do men obsess on one woman? Okay, now, of course, when you have your woman, treat her good and do all that, but I find that people are so obsessed with, sometimes They get so obsessed with a single person. There are many women in the world. Why do you obsess with one that's a drinker? Just let her be. Let her go. Find a girl who doesn't drink. Find a girl who fits what you want. You got to think abundance. You got to think abundance. There's more than one woman out there in the world. But I get it. She's the girl you met. She's in your daily routine. Maybe you work with her. You're seeing her on a regular basis, whatnot. I would tell you, get smart. Get a girl from abroad or something. Even easier. That's even easier. Induce adaptations in untrained young men consuming adequate amounts of protein. I don't know what that means. I don't know what you mean by that. You must be responding to someone else. Coach, who's the best striker in the UFC? That's from Harrington Rapita. Right now, right now, I would say Holloway. Right now, after his last performance, I got to give it to him. I think he's the best striker right now. Poatan, okay, Alexander Pereira. And then I would say Max Holloway. Let me say Poatan first, then Max Holloway. High protein plant-based diet versus a protein matched omnivore diet to support resistance training adaptation. That's from Charles Berlin. Do you have any studies on that show that plant protein is better than flesh foods? Do you have any studies on that? Is there any studies? I would like to see them. Here's the problem with plant foods. Here's my problem with plant foods. It's too much fiber. If you eat beans and all that, like you're constantly going to the toilet, you're constantly gassy. It's, for me anyway, very disruptive to my system. Very disruptive. And we're not all built the same. And I remember, like, I was a big follower of Joel Furman, and he was like very big on plant foods and small amounts of flesh food. So I would get a lot of I would have, like, he would say when you have flesh food, protein, it has to be the size of a deck of cards, okay, which is not a lot. But he says, you're going to live longer, you're going to be healthier. So I tried it, and I tried to get a lot of my proteins from plant foods. However, eating beans and all that, man, it was just too disruptive on the system. Too much. Like, I was on the toilet like 5 times a day. It was way, way too much for me. Like, I just couldn't live like that. Plus the gas, it was just too much. So I had to increase my protein, my flesh food. And I felt a lot better. I felt back to recovering, getting more protein in my diet more easily. It's so hard to get it from plant foods. It's a lot of food. It's a lot of eating. It's a lot of going to the toilet. It's just way too much. Shafiq, welcome. Coach, I'm a philosophy minor and at university. Do you think it's best to just ask questions in class and lessons as opposed to share ideas? Class time is limited. That's from Alex Leal. I think both are good. Sharing ideas, asking questions, of course, both are really, really good. But the best is to make a claim and then cross-examine it. I would say that's the Socratic method, and that's, in my opinion, the best way to learn. You make a claim, let's cross-examine it. How true is it? How can you prove that it's true? How can you prove that it's not true? Coach, did you ever get around to experimenting with DDP-style grappling, rushing for the neck without securing the position? Thoughts of Strickland rematch? That's from Jamil. Yes, I have and absolutely love it. I watch DDP the way he does it, and I absolutely love it. I think it's a brilliant way to do it, and it's really, really good. Rematch with Strickland, that's going to be exciting because that was a very close fight. A lot of people thought Strickland won. That's a fight that needs a rematch. What are the major similarities between Ghazali and Kant? That's from Kasim. Well, that's a good one. That's a really good one. What's the... Oh, major similarities. I was thinking differences. That's a good one. They were both heavy into epistemology. Very heavy and neurotically, like extremely obsessed with the question of cause, the problem of causation. How one thing causes another. Does it indeed cause another? They speculated on this immensely. The problem of causation is actually something incredibly difficult to teach and or learn. Very difficult. Like, it's just a very difficult topic because people think they understand it, and you realize that there's so many layers to this issue. There's so many layers. And I will tell you that 99% of the world's population has no idea what that is even. I'll tell you why, because when I was talking about it on the Rogan podcast, everybody flipped out. And I realized, I sat back and I realized, like, like people have they don't even know if its existence. Like, this is something I grew up studying for so many years. So for me, it was like, I don't know, just a common idea. Their obsession with the problem of causation, I would say, was their most similar thing that connected them. You're a classy man, Coach. I respect and love it. That's from Yasser. Jazakallahu khair. Thank you very much, Yasser. Appreciate that. Coach, you do a podcast on the Jewish question, Israeli-Palestine conflict. That's from New Britain. Well, you shouldn't call it the JQ. You shouldn't call it. Should I call it the Israeli-Palestinian conflict? I have done it many times in the past. I've talked about it many times on this channel. I think it's absurd. I think people shouldn't egg on the violence. We shouldn't try to push one side over the other. I think they both can live in peace. I think I've said many times, we have to get rid of both extreme governments. Both governments have committed war crimes. Both governments have to be replaced with two sides that are more sensible. Don't forget, historically, the Muslims always brought back the Jews to Israel or Jerusalem or the Holy Land. The Muslims always protected Judaism during the Inquisition, during the Crusades. Who protected the Jews? Don't take my word for it. Look up David Wasserstein. He's a professor of Jewish studies. He says, without Islam, Jewry would not exist. He speculates that Jewry would not exist. Why? He says, look him up, David Wasserstein. He's a professor of Jewish studies. He says, look, when Islamic expansion happened, they united the Iranian territories, which is the Assassin territories back then. But what you know today is Iran. What you know today is Europe or Rome. They connected them. So the Jewish tribes can now connect with one another. And that's how they unified Judaism. Because before, if you were in Persia, you couldn't go to Rome. You couldn't travel to Rome if you were a Jew. But when Islam took over, everybody was free to run around as they wish. And that unified and solidified the Jewish communities. It reinvigorated them. And David Wasserstein says, look, the more the Muslims were successful, the more the Jewish populations were successful. It went hand in hand, because the more success the Muslims had, the more it protected and sheltered and gave freedoms to the Jewish people. Now, people forget, even in the 7th century, the Muslims treated the Jews better than the Jews treat the Muslims today, the Arabs today. It's completely backwards. We should be progressing towards peace and humanity and openness. However, we've regressed, because in the 7th century, people had more rights. They had more equal rights. Now today, they're ethnically cleansing. They're killing children, literally children with bullet wounds in the head. Like, bullets are aimed to their head. Like, the UN has documented so many war crimes by the Israelis. It's disgusting. It's really appalling. And anybody who denies it is just a mouthpiece for Israel. That's really what it is. They just don't want to admit to the facts. I mean, the facts are out. Before October 7th, the ICC, the International Criminal Court, did a 5-year investigation on Israel, and they found them guilty of multiple war crimes. The settlements, even the US is saying the settlements are wrong. Like, they're literally murdering people on a regular basis to take their homes. Like, it's just insane. It's an insane amount of violence. The whole world knows it's unfair and unjust, but because the US is backing Israel and everybody's scared of the USA, People are giving lip service. People are scared to say, to object to these murders, to this genocide. You have mass graves. You have literally the killing of children on a daily basis, starvation, famine. Like the UN said that they're on the brink of famine. Like countless doctors are coming out saying it's hell on earth. Gaza is hell on earth. Literally, children have to be amputated without anesthesia. They tried to make a plan. Saying, look, we're going to take the children that are in severe need of amputation. We're going to do it in Israel because you guys are worried that, if you send us drugs, Hamas is going to get them. Well, let's take the kids and move them to Israel. They're kids. They're not Hamas. They're kids. We're talking about like 5 years old, 10 years old, 9 years old. Israel rejected that outright. We're not going to use our supplies to save these children. But the whole international community was going to fit the bill. It wasn't going to cost Israel a penny. Israel could have came out as the good guy. They could have said, look, here's 500 kids that we treated. No. They said no. They rejected that offer. Why did they reject that offer? Because like Netanyahu said, Amalek. They're Amalek. Guys, if you read Amalek, I read the entire 5 books of Moses. Amalek is a call to genocide. That's what it is. It's annihilate all of Amalek, their children. It's specific. It tells you their children, their livestock, the chicken, the horse, the cow, the dog, everything. Kill it all. Don't leave a thing of them, including the infant children. So you can't say, oh, no, they're referring to Hamas. No. Even if he's referring to Hamas, that means kill their women and children. It's insane. It's an insane thing for a modern world leader to say. A man who literally controls one of the most powerful armies in the world to say that, hey, they're Amalek. Let's have a genocide. It's an insane, and it's not even like, you can't even say it's dog whistling. It's really like, if you read the Amalek passages, that's what it is. It's complete, utter call to annihilation. Netanyahu is a savage butcher. He's a savage butcher. He's no better than any Hamas. He's no better than anybody who knows Smotrich or Ben Gvir. These are sadistic human beings. Ben Gvir was literally, no doubt, he was literally convicted of terrorism. Now he's in the government. Ben Gvir was not allowed to join the IDF because his views were too extreme. When they shot that 12-year-old boy for celebrating a Palestinian holiday, and the 12-year-old boy was shot from 200 meters away, roughly about 200 meters away, from a height, like a soldier in a high tower. Like the kid was it was caught on video. The kid was just playing with a little firework. They shot him and killed him. And Ben Gvir said, I'm going to give that soldier a medal. You all see a child, I see a terrorist, he said. The kid's 12 years old. He was born in an open-air prison. It's insanity to me. Honestly, it's insanity to me. And everybody supporting Israel in the future they're going to be completely humiliated. They're going to be completely humiliated. People are going to go back. They're going to search through all the tweets and all the messages and all the comments. They're going to screenshot. They're compiling it. They're archiving it because they know that in the future, your grandchildren are going to be embarrassed of what you wrote on the internet. Like, it's insane how people are so racist and bloodthirsty. They call for the death of young children. It's insane. It's disgusting. Look, I came out after October 7th. I condemned it. I thought it was a horrible, horrible action. But if you justify what's happening after October 7th, then you should justify October 7th. Because before October 7th, they had atrocities. The Israelis committed so many countless massacres. It started early. One of the earliest massacres was Deir Yassin, 1948. They killed over 120 people. That's why we had the Nakba. People ran away. They were scared of the Israeli militia. And we have documentaries on how the Israelis are bragging about how many Palestinians they killed, how they had more guns and more weapons, and they murdered as many as they could. They're bragging about it. So how dare anybody say, this was, everything was peaceful till October 7th. No, not at all. That's an ignorant thing to say. They displace them because of their race. They take their homes on a regular basis. They shoot and murder and kill. There's no breathing room for the Palestinians. Obama said it best. Obama said, this is referring to the Palestinians before October 7th. He's saying, living in Palestine is unbearable. No human being can bear this. And he said that if you met these people, you'd want them to succeed. You'd want them to have a better life. They're not evil people. They're not inherently evil. They're just prisoners of a sadistic state. Okay, guys, I know I said this before, but I'm going to round it up now. Let's finish it on a good one. There's a vid of a kid coming out of a tunnel. I don't know what you mean by that. Coach, chicken shawarma or chicken biryani? That's from Zain. Chicken shawarma. Chicken biryani, like I can have it once in a while, but that's way too much fat. Way too much. The Muslims always protected the Jews. Times change for us. Times change. That's from Ricky. Ricky, when did times change? When? When did Muslims persecute Jews? When? They only started persecuting Jews after the Zionist project. Before that, we were always protectors of the Jewish people. Always. And I'm happy to say it. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm happy we protected them. Now, during the Zionist movement, the Arab world kicked out Jewish people from their homes. I think that's wrong. When people ask me, is that wrong? I say, yeah, it's wrong. But it doesn't mean because some Arab did it in another country that we should do it to them here. No, that's not. That's completely wrong. It's like saying, hey, some Arab guy kicked out somebody out of an Arab country. We're going to come kick you out of your home here in Canada. Well, I'm unrelated to that Arab guy. Not every Arab is the same. Not every Arab country is the same. When people get kicked out of their property that they own, I think it's wrong. It doesn't matter their race or religion. It's not complicated. So there was that. I would tell you that the Arabs did do wrong, but that's very recent history. I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying it was a reaction. Because the thing is, Arabs, the Muslims and the Jews were very similar. And here's the irony of it all. Is the Palestinians today or the ancient Jews of yesterday? Much more. Let's take a DNA test. Who here wants to take a DNA test? Well, let me tell you something. In Israel, it's illegal to do a DNA test. If you want to do a DNA test, you have to have a doctor's prescription. It has to be medically necessary. Why do you think that is, gentlemen? Why do you think that is? Now, a Palestinian will happily take a DNA test. He'll tell you his ancestors come from here. The Palestinians today are the Jews of yesterday. They just converted to Islam. The Christian Palestinians and Jews, Muslim Palestinians, they either converted to Christianity or Islam. The Jews of today in Israel went in Europe, became European they assimilated with Europe, and then they came back to Israel, and now they're European blood. They mixed their blood with the Europeans. Now, I still think if you identify as Jewish, we should allow you back in line, but you have to buy your line. You have to immigrate legally. You can't just come here and take people out of their home, ethnically cleansed, start a new regime. Look at all the violence it brought. It wasn't worth it. It's not worth it. Look at all this violence. Look at all this misery. And there's no end in sight for this misery. You have to literally, you created a kill or be killed type environment. None of the Arab world is happy with this. And I'll tell you something. It's doing more to unite the Arab world than ever. That's the good part. The Arab world is uniting more than ever. And the Arab world is quickly catching up in regards to the technology gap. It's not going to be forever that the West has all the big guns. It's not forever. It's the next 10, 20 years. After that, then what? You pass down the problem to your kids. Especially with the drones and all this, all the new developments. They're already look, Israel can't barely handle Gaza. They can barely handle Gaza. Already they're running low on soldiers. People are leaving Israel en masse. Nearly 1 billion people have left Israel since. There are only 9 million. If this is what, you're going to do another forever war? You're going to bring American soldiers to fight another 20-year war, 30-year war, 50-year war? How long? There are 2 billion Arabs in the world. It's not going, we're not going away. That Muslims are not going away. It's just such a complicated problem. And the Arabs are quickly realizing that they need more sophisticated technology. And they have to learn to resist the West. The West will eat your children alive. The West is merciless. They're merciless. They'll kill children and tell you it's okay, that they're doing a good thing, that they're the heroes. And your children are dying because they're human shields. That's what they're going to tell you. But they won't tell you that Israel has a Hannibal directive where they literally shoot their own civilians. That hostage from Hamas who was released, the girl, she was saying, no, I wasn't in danger from Hamas. It was the Israeli bombing that almost killed me. It was the Israeli bombing. Well, let me tell you something. On October 7th, they were shooting their own civilians. We have it on tape. They have the Hannibal Directive. It's a leak. They literally believe that they should be able to rape prisoners, POWs. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to go to war and we're going to start sodomizing, raping, and torturing each other. Like, that's a really bad idea. After World War II, the world promised, never again. We're never going to do these things again. We learned our lesson after World War I, then we fell into World War II. We said never again after World War I. We said this is the worst idea. They used to call World War I the Great War, the war to end all wars. And then they did it again. And then after the second time, they're like, wow, humanity is going in the wrong direction. They went through multiple Geneva Conventions. We're never going to do this again. Never again. And now look at this. The people that are doing it again. Like, it's just insane. Humanity has lost its mind. There were dozens of Arab massacres of Jews in Israel before 1948. Okay, which ones? Can you name them? Which ones are they, Stevie? Because I've looked it up, okay? Look, Stevie, look it up, okay? What Arab massacres is there? There was fighting when the Jews, first of all, the Jews always lived with Arabs in Palestine. They were a minority, maybe 3% or whatnot. I can't remember exactly the number, but they were a minority. And then they started to immigrate, and the Arabs said, look, enough with the immigration. We don't want to lose our demographic. They weren't able to control their own territory. That's why there was skirmishes. That's why there was fighting, because the British wanted to bring in a Western influence. But don't forget, before that, the Jewish people lived under the Ottoman Empire in peace for over 800 years. In peace. They thrived under Muslim. Guys, look, Steve, I'm not saying there wasn't massacres. There was some, but which one are you referring to? And the massacres were wrong. I'm telling you, like, massacring people is wrong. But what I'm telling you is, by and large, we treated the Jewish people way better than everybody else. And if you look at a time in history, we didn't have to. That was a time where people would annihilate one another. The Muslims always took care of the Jewish people. Why? They're in our books. We believe that their religion is authentic to a certain extent. Okay, we have a high respect for Judaism. We believe in the same religion, the same God, the same everything. The Muslims brought back the Jews after they were expelled by the Romans. Who brought them back? It was the Muslims, time and time again. Look. I'm gonna read you the Omar bin Khattab Treaty, the Treaty of Omar. In 637 CE, Omar conquers Jerusalem. This is the treaty he gives to the Jewish people. Okay, it's a very well-known treaty. You can look it up. The Treaty of Omar, 637 CE, Common Era. Safety for the people. He has given them assurance of safety for themselves, for their property, their churches, their crosses, the sick and the healthy of the city, and for all the rituals of their religion. Okay, let me put on my glasses here. Don't forget, this is for the Christians also. Protection of churches. Their churches will not be inhabited by Muslims, nor will they be destroyed. Neither they nor their land of which they stand, nor their crosses, nor their property will be damaged. Freedom of religion. They will not be forcibly converted to Islam. None among them will be harmed. That's the thing. People think that Islam went and forced people to the sword. That's untrue. Were very rare circumstances, and those were wrong. It was haram. It's wrong. However, by and large, when you talk to historians, they're going to tell you, no, Islam didn't have forced conversions. That's Christianity. People conflate Christianity with Islam. Christianity did absolutely massacre and forced conversion of the Jews. Forced conversion, yes. Payment of jizya, okay? The people of Jerusalem will pay the jizya, a tax levied on non-Muslims under Islamic rule, in exchange for protection, but their churches will not be used for accommodations by Muslims. Now, why do they pay the jizya? Don't forget, everybody has to pay tax. The Muslims, it's a religious tax, so it's zakat. So everybody's got to pay tax, even the Muslim. It's not like, oh, we're putting a tax on the non-Muslim and giving the Muslims a free ride. No, not at all. It's just that our tax is a religious one, but since you're not part of the religion, you're not going to do a religious practice. That's not part of your religion. Okay, so we give you a jizya. No harm. No one from the people of Jerusalem shall be harmed or wronged. Immigration freedom. Those who wish to leave Jerusalem are free to do so, and they may take their property with them. Those who choose to stay shall be safe and must pay the jizya tax. Equal treatment. The people of Jerusalem will have the same rights and obligations as the other non-Muslims who are under the Muslim rule. Non-hostility. If any of the people of Jerusalem wish to leave and join the Byzantines, their former rulers, they are free to do so. But if they wish to remain in the city, they are welcome to and will be protected. Guys, you can read the full treaty online. Okay, this is a classic treaty. The Muslims, when they conquered Jerusalem, they gave them all these rights. Now, why when the Jews conquered Jerusalem, they didn't do that for the Arabs? Instead, they literally are killing our children. It's horrific. And they do it in front of the world. But the world is so scared to get canceled. The world is so scared. The actors, all people of repute. That's why I applaud everybody who comes out and says, you know what, you can't buy me, you can't scare me. I don't know who Dua Khalifa is or whatever her name is, but I saw a post of her and she's like this young famous singer, and she was like, I don't care if they try to cancel me, I think it's wrong that they're killing these kids. I can't tell you, I can't applaud her more. I forget her name, Dua Lipa or something like that. But I was like, wow. I saw her once when I was in Times Square. We were there for the UFC, and I saw her on the huge billboard with her name, and I was like, wow, this girl must be really famous. She's in Times Square. And then I see her on the internet talking how wrong it is that they bomb innocent children in Palestine. I can't applaud her any more than, I'm telling you, I think she deserves high respect for that. All right, guys, let's end it on a fun one, something more positive. One massacre has been going on since 1948. It's called the Nakba. There has been hundreds of massacres since October 8th. That's Harmania. Look, guys, Noam Chomsky said it best. Noam Chomsky is one of the most cited scholars in history. He said, look, Israel's got all the power. They have all the responsibility. I can't agree with them. I can't agree with him more. They can control all the violence. If I was running that country and had all the power, I wouldn't do anything. They're getting the worst press. They're getting the worst. Their strategy is so bad. Their strategy is like, if you touch one of us, we'll annihilate 1,000 of you. Like, their strategy is all about that whatever you do to us, we're going to do 10 times worse to you. It's such a bad strategy. You're invoking hatred. Your generations of hatred coming towards your way. As opposed to, look, if you hit us, we're going to have to hit you back. We're doing it reluctantly. We want to make peace with you. Let's come to the table. Let's make this a place for all of us to live. We all have heritage here. I wouldn't disagree to that. I'd say, of course, the Jews have heritage in Israel. Of course they do. Jerusalem, of course. There's enough resources and place for all of us to live together in peace. We've done it in the past. We'll do it again in the future. This is just a bad patch that in the future, people will be humiliated about this patch. They're going to be humiliated, I'm telling you. Because especially if you see the new generations, the young kids who are going to be 18 shortly, they're all voting. They hate this dispute. They think this dispute is ridiculous. We all grew up on the internet together. We're all talking on a daily basis, even though we live on different sides of the planet. Who the hell is going to tell you, hey, those people of a certain race, they have to go behind that wall? What are we, in the 1800s? Who lives like that anymore? Who lives like that? Oh, by their race, they can't live in this building because of their race. It's humiliating. Imagine you went in the US somewhere and they're like, oh no, this building's only for people of a certain race. You'd be like, oh, that's backwards, man. That's really that's like 100 years ago people thought like that. You still think like that? You still think about, ethnicity? You still think about, it's humiliating. It's really humiliating. Their generations in the future will be humiliated. If you think I'm crazy, well, look at Nazi Germany. They were ultra right wing. What happened after the ultra right wing? What happened to them? They became ultra left wing. How come the pendulum swings from one side of this room to the other? Because that's the way it is. That's the way it is. People get so embarrassed. They want to go the other way. They're like, oh, we're humiliated after World War II. We're humiliated. Oh, look at these crazy. Now that everything's brought to light for the whole world to see, it's so humiliating. It's so embarrassing that we were thinking like that. Oh, we were telling people we're the chosen race. We're superior. We're smarter. We're this. We're that. You're inferior. You deserve to be dominated by us. And then we get our asses kicked. Then what happens? It's kind of like a champion. Imagine a champion. He becomes champion. He gets the gold, and he's very arrogant about it. He's like, oh, yeah, if anybody wants to fight me, I'll beat you into the ground. And, a coach like me who's seen so many champions, like, look, he's having his day, but in the future, he's going to be dethroned. They're all get dethroned. Father Time catches us all. Sometimes the cookie crumbles a certain way. Things that are unimaginable happen during fighting. War is crazy. You never know. You can't control all the variables. Sometimes a little tiny surprise that you didn't expect can change the whole entire battle, war, the outcome completely. And when that champion gets dethroned and he's discombobulated, he used to be untouchable, he used to beat people so easily, now he's like, he can't win a fight. And people remember how arrogant he was. They remember what a piece of you-know-what he was. And people hate him. People despise him. And now they love to see him suffer. They love to step on him. Guys, let me tell you something. Rome, the Germans are interesting people. Rome beat the Germans for hundreds of years in a row. The Germans were considered barbarians. Okay? The term barbarians was a term invented by the Romans to describe the German people. Because when the Germans would talk to the Roman, it sounded like ba, 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 ba. So the barbarians. They don't know how to talk. Now the Germans, also known as the barbarians, to the Romans, were getting their ass kicked by the Romans for hundreds of years, for like 400 years straight. They were a nuisance to the Romans. They were nothing to the Romans. Now, the Germans eventually were a big part in the fall of Rome. Now, the fall of Rome is a very gray area. It's a very complicated thing. No historian has an exact definition of how it went down or a definition of the dates because, it happened slowly over time and it's very complex and there was a lot of defectors and certain, everybody was, every province or state, I should say, was declaring itself to be the emperor now. Like there's emperors popping up everywhere. There was chaos near the end. Okay, but the Germans had a lot to do with it. The Germans were Attila the Hun. The Germans were there at the end, and they were stepping on the Romans' heads. The Romans were defeating them for hundreds of years, and the Germans who were once a nuisance are now at your door destroying you. And what happened? Fast forward, the Germans in the future become one of the greatest superpowers in history. Talk about the Nazi Germans. But the Germans were highly successful later on. Highly successful. Math, engineering, science, everything. You name it. But for hundreds of years, the Romans saw them as a backwards people. As a backwards people. Now, today we don't see the Germans as a backwards people. Today we see them as highly sophisticated, advanced. German engineering. What happened? Well, they had a culture shift. They went through phases like everybody else, like every other nation. The Greeks, once upon a time, were the most sophisticated, most powerful, not only technologically, but also in terms of culture. Today, would you see the Greeks as that today? No, they're great, sure, but their golden age is far behind them. Maybe tomorrow in the future, they're going to have another rise. It can be, of course. But when we talk about the Greeks, we're always talking about the ancient Greeks. All their accomplishments was in the ancient times. We're talking about like 2,500 years ago. What happened, man? It's been 2,500 years. Where's the next golden era? Well, golden eras take a long time. What about the Egyptians? We don't talk about the Egyptians like we used to. When we talk about the Egyptians, we're always talking about the ancient Egyptians. That was 5,000 years ago. Well, man, it's been 5,000 years. You'd think they'd win another world championship in terms of civilization. Nope, nothing yet. Will it happen again in the future? I'm sure it'll come back around. So what I'm trying to say is civilizations go up and down, just like champions go up and down. Israel is getting the worst PR I've ever seen. The worst. Absolutely the worst. So bad that they wanted to ban TikTok because 80% of TikTok posts are anti-Israel. It's really bad press. Killing children, not allowing aid to go to starving children. You have to be a moron. Like, yeah, anybody who's like, I find it disgusting. Like, I don't care if it's a Jewish child, a Muslim child, an atheist child, or Christian's child, or whatever. Don't harm the kids. Like, we can all agree on this. I think we can all agree on this, but we don't. That's the thing. We don't. Some people, they try to make excuses why these children should be killed. And they're just part of it's just collateral damage, man. We had no choice. We had to kill the kids. Imagine you walk into a bank. No, imagine your wife and kids walk into a bank. And it so happens to be there's somebody robbing the bank at the time. So they lock the doors. The cops surround the building. The guy's like, give me the money. Get me a way out, or else I'm going to start shooting hostages. And the police say, hey, he's threatening us. Blow him up. Kill him. And the cops go and mow down everybody. The women, the children, everybody. Would you accept that? Would you be like, hey, why'd you kill my wife and kids, man? They're like, oh, he was using them as human shields. We had no choice. Would you accept that? You wouldn't accept it. You'd be like, that was disgusting. How dare you? How dare you do that? How dare you mow down the innocent people? Of course you would. If we flip the script, imagine nobody can justify this. Killing the innocent women and children is disgusting. It's despicable. It's cowardly. When the real body count comes out, when they finally dig through the rubble and they find the bodies, it's going to be an astronomical number of people, an inhuman amount of people, and I just can't believe that anybody out there would justify it. It's absolutely disgusting. Week 1. Here's a quote from the Talmud showing the Jews hate Jesus. By the way, it disputed if the quote is even about Jesus. Week 2. Non-Muslims take this quote about our prophet and... What is even about Jesus? It's dispute. Look, I know exactly what quote you're talking about. It's only disputed because when the Jews were trapped by the Christians, they tried to interpret it differently. But believe me when I tell you, it's very well accepted who it's talking about. And your other comment, I won't even acknowledge it because it's completely another topic we've done many times. Okay, we've done it many times, and I mean, I'm not going to go through a whole other thing about it. Okay. What? UFC historian, do you ever go to bed? It's 1 a.m. That's right, man. You guys got me on a roll. I want to end it on a positive note, but we keep going on these deep subjects. Goodness gracious. Can you talk about Wittgenstein's philosophy a bit? I'm not an expert on Wittgenstein's philosophy, so I have to go over his stuff, but that's going to be at a much later date. Coach, do you think Alex Pereira is still Muslim? I saw a video of him on YouTube taking a shahada a few years ago. Well, I have no idea. I don't know the man personally. So you are defending grape, I'll just say the word grape, both in literal terms and as far as the logical entailment of your arguments. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I would never justify that. Weren't the Germans the first to use their women as fighters on the battlefield as well? Question mark. That's from Chalk T. I'm not sure, actually. That would be interesting. I'd have to look that up. I'm not sure if that's true. That's the cycle of civilization Ibn Khaldun talked about, Coach. That's from Insomnia. Yes, of course. Fraz, did you see the Chael Sonnen tribute? I used your comments from the last AMA. It's on my channel. Highly recommend. Face blue smiling. I don't know. What do you mean the Chael Sonnen tribute? Oh, you made a Chael Sonnen tribute. Face boost slamming. I'll have to look it up. Saw you in Steven's live UFC Legends Unite. Steven's my boy. Used to train with me back in the day. He's a great guy. Great martial artist. Fantastic martial artist. Check out his channel, guys. Charbelin, our vegan friend, says, we have, I think he's quoting here, we have enslaved the rest of the animal creation and treated our distant cousins in fur and feathers so badly that if they were able to formulate a religion, they would depict the devil in human form. That's from Charbelin. Yeah, maybe, I'm sure. But here's the thing. Do you really think a chicken, you're personifying, no offense here, Mr. Chamberlain, but you're personifying a chicken like a human being? Like you're saying like the chicken has like human level thinking? Do you really think that? Do you think the chicken feels love? Like, I'm not saying kill a cat and eat a cat or a dog or a sophisticated animal, but just think of like the cow. What do you think is going on between his ears? Like, do you really think he's having these deep thoughts? I'm asking an honest question. Like, do you really think he contemplates, he has meaning in his life? Or to him, he just doesn't want the pain of the blade going across his neck? But other than that, he doesn't really think about life and death. He doesn't really have a profundity to him. Let me ask you a question. Do you ever squash a bug? Let's say a mosquito is biting you. Do you kill it? Like, do you just brush it away like the Janes, maybe? Or do you kill it? Well, do you think it has love? And do you think a mosquito has love, or like it feels, or it contemplates the universe? Do you think it has a purpose? I don't think they do. I think they don't really think much. You know, their IQ, they're so low on the level of, their level of consciousness is so low that I don't think they even like think about tomorrow, right? They're just living in the moment. So for them, they're blank between the ears, I would say. Now, I have pets. I wouldn't eat my pets. No, I wouldn't eat my pets. But I'll tell you something. If you look at the animal kingdom, you love the animal kingdom so much. Look what the animal kingdom does to one another. Right? The lion eats the zebra. The zebra, that eats the zebra, I think, eats grass. I'm not even sure what they eat. But every animal eats one another, right? They're all, it's a bloodbath. It's a bloodbath. Right? So if they could eat us, they would. And they sometimes do. Okay, so if they could eat us, they sometimes do. Now, I get it. Some animals, like I personally, I wouldn't kill a gorilla. I wouldn't hunt a gorilla for sport. I think that's animalistic. However, I will eat a chicken. Why? Because I find a gorilla is far more sophisticated. I see they have communities. They have a bond with each other. I wouldn't go and mess with that. I wouldn't. I see dolphins in the ocean. I'm not an animal. Like I'm not a savage. I understand. Like they have a community. I wouldn't mess with that. They're like high on the consciousness scale. But like a fish, I feel it's so low. There's nothing going on between his ears. I don't see any sign that there is. Coach, can famous superstar boxers like Manny Pacquiao, aka Pac-Man, make a difference and possibly stop violence and war if he became president? He's in politics, I believe. That's from Shiz. Yeah, I heard he's like really big into politics, but he would be the president of Philippines, which I don't think they're really on the world stage when it comes to international conflict. I've never heard Philippines' name being mentioned. The Philippines. So I just don't think he would have any influence, really. Thoughts on why Dana chose to do the sphere for Mexican Independence Day? ? Lots of people theorize that Dana sees the writing on the wall with the whole open border thing, and it's trying to get ahead of the curve. That's from IROC 20. I don't think so, man. I don't think. I don't think he's thinking like that. I think it was amazing. The sphere. I love all the graphics. It was really cool. I think it was a superb experience. The sphere's in Vegas. It's new. They did it. It had to be done. It's unique. It's a special something. I think he knew the ticket prices were so high. He had to tell them it's a one and done. I think they're going to go back. They figured out how to do it. They had a lot of complicated issues. They figured it out. They did it. I'm sure they're going to redo it. It was a beautiful experience from what I heard. I wasn't there, but I heard everybody loved it. And I'm sure they're going to do it again. I'm sure. Did you know it was illegal for a man to beat his wife after 10 p.m. in the 1500s England, coach? Too much noise, apparently. That's from insomnia. Was that the problem? I didn't know that. Thank you for the information. Again, if you care about plants, the best thing to do is to respect animals, since doing so harms fewer plants indirectly. What? Chamberlain Tommaso, I think, is a hardcore vegan, and he wants us all to be vegan. But Chamberlain, man, it kills my gut, man. I can't. It kills my gut. I can't eat that much plant food. We got the plants' right advocates in the room. Coach, do you judge writings of philosophers by their personal lives? That's from Honorable Warrior. To a certain extent, but a very small extent. I like to see how they lived as well. I think it does show how authentic they were. It is important. Coach, when are you going to do a barbecue instructional? Jonathan, I know I've been... I got to get it done, man, but it's so busy. Coach, let your sons eat a croissant. That's what men are. All right, just for you. I'll let them have one, okay? But if it becomes a slippery slope, I'm coming after you. I'm really upset. Coach, an experiment solving allergies naturally. Doctor prescribed me with Montel Crest and caused absurd side effects. Muhammad, I've read that eating local honey is good. So because the bees gather all the pollen in your local area, so it can help. But I'm not an expert in this at all. I never seen a pig fetch or guide a blind person. That's from Joa, Algeria. Actually, pigs are super intelligent, Joa. Super, super intelligent. They're more intelligent than dogs. Pigs are more intelligent than dogs. Don't underestimate. From all the farmed animals, the pig is the smartest. Ahmed says to Chamberlain, you should commit SUI. What is it? He wants him to delete himself. Look, don't delete yourself, Chamberlain. Listen, just think about this, Chamberlain. Okay? Life depends on death. We have to have some level of death, or else we can't function. We cannot have life. Okay? So if your house was infested of rats, you'd be like, hey, look, I live here. These rats got to go. I can't live with them. They'll bite me when I'm sleeping. They'll spread disease in my house. They got to die and I got to live. That's the way it is. And I would agree with you. I'd be like, hey, man, I'm your neighbor. I'm going to come and help you. And we're going to eradicate all these rats. We're going to delete them. We're going to clean up your home and you're going to go back to living. And you'll be like, yes, the minimum amount of death is the right amount of death. I agree with you. However, I think most animals that we farm, all animals that we farm except the pig, is very low on the consciousness scale, like I was saying earlier. So for me, I don't feel they have feelings like us. I don't think they have thoughts like us. I don't think there's anything going on in their brain that's so important. I don't think they're just pecking, eating seeds, and you're personifying them. You're giving them a personality. Like, look, that one's different than that one. And you're getting attached, but that's really, you're projecting your mind onto that animal. You're projecting your mind, oh, that animal's like me, and you're connecting with him. I think that's absurd. I think there's not that much going on in his head. Now, you have your opinion, I have mine, but why don't you become a Jane? Because the Janes are looking at you and they're like, no, Chamberlain, the way you look at Coach, we look at you. You know, the Jains, when they get up at night, they don't walk around at night. You know why? They don't cook. They say don't cook at night. Because you might get up and step on a bug. You can't sweep in the night and be sure you cleared out all the bugs. The Jains don't boil their water. Why don't they boil their water? Because you're killing all the life in the water. You got to drink the contaminations. Well, what if I die? Well, they say, oh, you die. Too bad. They're saying you're too barbaric. Actually, the highest level of Jain, you let your body decompose. Why should you eat a plant, Charlemagne? Why should you draw the line there? Is that your name? Chamberlain. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. The Jains say, look, Chamberlain, why are you drawing the line at plant? No. Even the plant should live. You should die. You know, there were 8 Jains, from what I understand, 8 that ever reached this level where they let their body decompose. That's the safest, most humane thing you can do. That's why I'm telling you, life depends on death. We have to draw the line somewhere. Now, I understand you draw the line further out than me. You're drawing the line at plant. And you're saying, look, plants I'll eat, bugs I'll step on, I'm assuming, but not animals, not the cute little furry animals. Well, I'm telling you, look, my line's a little bit more on this side. You know, I'll tell you why. Because I don't think those animals really care about their life too much. They're just living in the moment. They don't want that moment of pain. They don't think about my life is ending. They don't think about these things. They don't think about the future. You think a chicken is thinking about the future? Oh, you know, I want to live in a really nice farm one day. I'm going to have a lot of chicks and I'm going to have a lot of this. You think he's thinking like that? He's not thinking like that. You think if a bunch of chickens are living together and I pluck one out, take it in the out back and cut its throat, do you think the other ones are lamenting? They don't even know he's gone. They don't even know he's gone. Chamberlain. They don't even know he's gone. Think about it. All the cows out in the field. I drag one out, take him out the back of the barn, shoot him. Are the other cows crying and lamenting? No. Elephants, however. Yes. Elephants. I would personally never eat an elephant. I think it's too sophisticated. Elephants have funerals. They cry. They mourn their dead. Okay, I wouldn't go and take one out the back and shoot him. No, the other ones are going to be lamenting. But when I take a chicken, take him out back and shoot him or gut him or whatever, cut his head off, do you think the other chickens care? What does that tell us? There's nothing really going on upstairs. There's nothing going on, Chamberlain. So I really think you should reassess your life, man. No offense. I mean, I think you're putting yourself through so much torment for nothing. Like literally nothing. Take a fish, eat it. It's delicious. It's good for you. You won't have as much gas. You won't have so much intestinal pain. Or not, become a Jain. Go all the way. Go all the way and become a Jain. Don't step on you got to start wearing masks now because bacteria gets in your body and your good bacteria, your antibodies kill those bacteria. No. You got to wear a mask from now on because you don't want those bacteria getting killed by your antibodies. You know about antibodies now. You can't take penicillin, by the way. If you have an infection and something's growing in your body, you can't take penicillin. That you're killing the bacteria. The bacteria has a right to live. Live. Everything has a right to live. Go all the way, become a Jain. Let yourself decompose. But then you're dying. You're letting yourself die. For you to live, something else has got to die, Chamberlain. I didn't make this world. I just live in it. Now, I'm telling you, I draw the line a little bit further to the right than you do. But if you're going to criticize me, the Jains are criticizing you. How do you deal with the Jain problem? And I hope you're not an atheist, because if you're an atheist, there's an even bigger problem. There's no morality. If you're an atheist, so what? So what? Go tell the lion he's wrong for eating a zebra. Go tell the lion that. Go tell him he can get all his nutrition from this and that. He's just going to claw you and murder you. He's just going to claw you and murder you. He's going to think you're a fool. Well, he's not. You can't put morality on him. If you're an atheist, you cannot put morality on me. All you could do is say, look, in my world, my name is Chamberlain, and in my world, I think it would be really, really nice if people were nice to chickens and cows. And we're like, yeah, well, we don't want to live in your world. We got all the guns, we got all the might, we have our rights, we want to do what we want to do. We don't care what Chamberlain thinks. Because then you're just making an appeal to your personal aesthetics of how you would like to see the world. Because who are you to draw the line in the sand? The Jains draw it here, we draw it there, and you're drawing it here. Who are you to be the measuring stick of us all? It's just a really difficult position to argue for you. I'm doing my best here, but it's really, especially if you're atheist. Now it's just aesthetics. It's just aesthetics. There's no morality in atheism. You You can claim morality, but it's not objective. It's subjective. The only way, I know a lot of people are going to debate this, but just go read the classics, okay? Plato's Euthyphro. If something is moral, it's because God said it is. Now, that's a whole other debate, of course, but it's a classic question. Is something moral because God said so, or did God say it's moral because its essence is moral? It's a classic. It's called the Euthyphro dilemma. I don't want to get too much into it now because I've done it in the past. Long story short, Chamberlain, how can you tell us where to draw the line? Who draws the line? Well, we can try to convince each other, yes. We can dialogue about it, yes. But at the end of the day, it's just your perspective versus my perspective. How do we get to an objective answer? Have you ever felt like you've had interactions with psychopaths? That's from Adam Rogers. Yes, absolutely. Don't forget, I'm in the fight game, guys. Yes, absolutely. I've had very scary individuals. I've interacted with very, very, very scary individuals. Absolutely. UFC historians having some woman trouble. Coach, should a woman who is taken be getting coffee with another man in any circumstance? Question mark. That's from UFC historian. Well, I mean, it depends what culture you're from. But in my culture, it's wrong. It's disrespectful, because people like to pretend, oh, no, we're just friends, But yeah, you can be just friends. I mean, but it's not appropriate. There should be a third person, a chaperone, or not a chaperone, but a third person, like fourth person. Why would two people, a man and female, go out together? Well, here's the thing. A lot of men here nowadays, they're very, very docile. But I think it's all a lie because it's not, people are going to be like, oh, you have no self-control. Of course there's self-control. Of course. You could put me in a room with a married woman. I would never touch her. I don't care what age I was. I would never touch a married woman ever. Okay, she's a married woman. It doesn't matter. I have all the self-control in the world, but it's not appropriate to be in the room with a married woman. It's not appropriate. Why? Because I'm disrespecting. And here's the thing, in most cultures around the world today, even today, it's like that. It's still like that. It's frowned upon. It's not seen as respectful. I personally don't roll with women and people get offended, but it's not because I want to offend you. It's actually because I respect you and your family. So if you send your wife to TriStar Gym or you send your daughter to TriStar Gym, you know that the coach is not putting the moves on her. For sure. I won't even make physical contact with her. And I think the men feel respected. Imagine you send your woman to across the street or whatever, and not across the street, but another gym, and the coach is trying to put the moves on her, and he's a creepy guy, and that he's using jiu-jitsu as an excuse. And believe me, girls complain about it all the time. I've had a jiu-jitsu gym for over 20 years. We do MMA jiu-jitsu. I've had so many women over the years come and complain to me that this guy's asking me to roll. I don't feel comfortable rolling with him. I tell her, don't roll with him. And I'll have a talk with him if you don't mind. And she girls say, don't say it's me because the other girls are complaining too. And then if I know it's 2-3 girls complaining, oh man, then I really have it out with the guy. And I'll tell him no more rolling with women because the guy, he's obviously using jiu-jitsu as a pretext to do stupid stuff. And the girls are not dumb either. They can know that, hey, the hand was lingering or the position was forced here. And he's guys do stupid things he's getting his jollies, let's say. Can't be tolerated. But it's worse when the instructors do it because the instructors have an authority. They can tell the girl, hey, go in this position, go here, do this. She's supposed to obey him, right? But he's using his commands to put her with a guy that he knows likes her or whatever. It's just, you can't do that, man. You just can't do that. So you have to have a squeaky clean line down the middle where people feel comfortable that they're not being abused or put in a sticky situation or an uncomfortable situation. And a lot of women just train with me because they have that security. Oh, we'll train there because we know he draws a line here and we have our space. We could do our training here and nobody's going to bother us. Welcome. You're welcome. Yes, nobody will bother you. Here's your section. You guys train. Nobody's going to harass you. Nobody's going to put the moves on you. It's a professional place to train. There's no there are women and men that train in the gym. They're allowed to. They could do what they want. This is Canada. But there's many women, they don't want to train with men. They come, they talk to me on the first day. Hey, I don't want to train with men. No problem. You don't have to train with men. You train with this group here, these girls here. That's your boundaries. That's what you're happy with. And people want that respect. They don't want to be pressured. They don't want to be told why not. What. They don't want to be debated with. And I don't debate with them. I tell them, like, that's what you're comfortable with. That's the rule for you. No problem. So I think getting the whole coffee thing, I think honestly it's a disrespect, man. I know you guys are going to be like, oh, coach, that's so old school. Dude, in my opinion, man, your woman, she should respect you so much that she wouldn't even do that. Why? Because people are going to see her out. They're going to be like whispering. They're going to be talking. And it's just inappropriate. Why would she want to meet with another guy? Why? What's the benefit? She has friends or female. Why don't she stay with her female friends? I know it seems old school, but I like it. I really like it. I think that's how the men should be. And the only reason it's not like that in the West is because the men have capitulated. The woman in the West, I feel, steps on the man. She abuses the man. And not only that, the women of the West, guys, I hate to say it, and I'm saying this as a philosopher. The women of the West, when men want to party from around the world, they come to the women of the West. Oh, yeah, because the men in the West, they just let us have them. Go try and do that in Africa. Go try and do that in an Arab country. Go try and do that in Asia. Go try and do that in India. Man, they will beat the hell out of you. The men will not allow it. And the woman will reject you. That's the thing. If you go in the Far East Europe, like, it's much harder to just take a woman for a night. Why is it in the West that we like, oh yeah, let the girls do what they want, that's it. No problem. Why are we sharing our women with the rest of the world? Why do we just throw them out? Like, here, they're fair game for everybody. But everybody else is really like, they have social norms that reject all this kind of behavior. It's like you're playing hockey and we don't have a goalie. It makes no sense, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I'll tell you something. I find women like it better when the man's old school. Not in the West here, because they're going to compare to their friends and their friends. But if you go in the more traditional countries, the women are far happier than in the West. In the West, the woman's life is full of drama. She's been with that guy. Then 3 months later, she's with another guy. Now she's divorced. She's married. Divorced 3 months later. 6 months. Who was telling me? Today somebody was telling me, anyways, I can't remember. Anyways, just divorce. Left her husband. A new boyfriend every other month. You go in traditional countries, man, the girl has her 3 kids. She's happy. She has a husband. She has a society. She's respected. Her kids respect her. Here, it's like, I have a mom. I flipped her off. I hate her. I don't talk to my mom, whatever. I was a one-night stand. She doesn't even know who my dad is. Like, they have this broken, like the nuclear family is like shattered. Why? I blame men. We got whipped. In the West, they got whipped, man. We got whipped. I've traveled the whole world. They're not like that in the other side of the world. I'm telling you. Go to Russia and tell the Russian man, hey, let your girl go out and do what she wants. Let her. I know there's certain parts. I get it. But the vast majority is still far more traditional. It's just a lot more successful, that formula. Okay, guys, we really got to end it now. All right, guys, I'm only doing one fun one, quick, short one, and that's going to be it. Traditional gender roles are the best. That's from Machiavelli. You said it best, man. They work for a reason. It's not for everybody, but I highly recommend you try it. Because if you don't, you might never see what it's like. And that could be a very, very sad thing, just to go from girlfriend to girlfriend. Then you're an old man. You're an old man. Everybody's like, hey, nobody's going to settle down with you. You're an old man now, and you just die off by yourself. Nobody knows who you are. People forgot about you. You're just a crazy old man living on a porch, and you have no family. You have no grandkids. You have no progeny. Like, what a sad way to go. All right, guys, it was a blast as usual. I want to apologize. I swore one time in this podcast. I apologize, guys. It's not like me, but I do have that side of me, guys. I do have that side of me that's not so nice. But I want to apologize for that, and it won't happen again in the future. Thank you very much. See you all in the next episode.